Chapter 1385. Luo Xuewu stepped forward considerately and helped Li Fan put on his clothes. At the same time, she whispered in his ear. The Hero's Token can not only command the heroes of the World Alliance, but it also hides a huge secret. Luo Xuewu's words finally aroused Li Fan's interest. He had sacrificed his body, so he had to get something in return. If she knew Li Fan's shameless thoughts, Luo Xuewu would definitely go crazy. Back then, Alliance Master Lu had 2 sets of martial arts that were very powerful. The smell on Luo Xuewu's body was indeed very fragrant. Li Fan looked at her appearance. That pink and tender face had the charm of a young married woman, which added a bit of charm to it, making Li Fan want to turn back. However, he tried his best to restrain himself at the thought of the enemy. Such a stunning beauty was willing to bear children for him. It was really his blessing. In order to divert his thoughts, Li Fan answered Luo Xuewu's question. I know. One is the 9 Buddha Sutra. Lu Jinchan knows this technique because he has some relationship with Imperial concubine Zhou. Yes, the 9 Buddha Sutra has a total of 9 pages, which are scattered everywhere. However, it's not surprising that you, Murong Bo, and Li Wei of the Devil Cult have comprehended it. Luo Xuewu nodded. Although the 9 Buddha Sutra was powerful, it was no longer a secret with the birth of Imperial concubine Zhou. Lu Jinchan's 9 Buddha Sutra was modified based on Imperial concubine Zhou's immortal evil technique. There are a total of 9 moves and 9 styles. In addition, Lu Jinchan also knows a move called God Slaying, which he comprehended in his later years. However, people don't know that Lu Jinchan has a real unique technique that is far superior to the 9 Buddha Sutra and God Slaying. Oh! Li Fan was a little surprised. He knows other martial arts? And it's far superior to the 9 Buddha Sutra? The 9 Buddha Sutra was already a very powerful martial art. How could it be ordinary if it was created by Lu Jinchan? When the 9 Buddha Sutra was born, it only took 1 page to cause a terrible bloodshed in the underworld. An even more powerful cultivation technique? How attractive would that be? However, this cultivation technique has already been lost. Luo Xuewu said, even in the Hero's Token, there is only one general instruction. An incantation? Yes. Luo Xuewu nodded. It's said that it's the main principle of the true immortal arts. Huh. Li Fan was a little surprised. True immortal arts? So the Hero's Token had such a secret? Alliance leader Lu is an unparalleled hero. It is said that he discovered the true immortal arts' general principles and mnemonics. Then he hid it in the Hero's Order, waiting for the later generations to study it. Since there is such a thing, why don't you cultivate it yourself? Li Fan could not help but ask. Although it was just a simple formula, every martial art, especially inner force, had a general principle and key points. The principle of essentials could be considered a rough cultivation method. It could be practiced on its own and could be considered an entry-level skill. Since the true immortal technique was so powerful, why hadn't he cultivated a bit of the falling snow dance for so long? After all, it is a secret. This secret has been hidden in the Hero's Token for hundreds of years, and no one has been able to understand it. Even I have not been able to decipher its mystery. Luo Xuewu sighed. Now that it has come to this, we can only take back the Hero's Token first. If it's possible, perhaps you can understand the secret of this Hero's Token. It can be considered a kind of opportunity. You haven't understood it for so many years. How can I be so lucky? Li Fan had already put on his clothes. I don't know if I can get back the Hero's Token. I will try my best. Husband, then I will leave it to you. As Luo Xuewu spoke, she bowed to Li Fan like a wife would. Looking at Luo Xuewu's appearance, Li Fan's heart was somewhat moved. If he could find such a beautiful wife, he would not be able to ask for anything more. However, Luo Xuewu and Murong Ying did not get along well. It was not quite possible for them to be together with him. Moreover, this pair of cousins were very similar in their bones. They both wanted to be independent. Murong Ying had the Murong Villa, while Luo Xuewu had the sword leaning on the wind. Neither of them could give up their family business. I'm leaving. Li Fan did not say anything more. He turned and walked out of the room. Thank you, Li Fan. Luo Shuowu looked in the direction where Li Fan had left and sighed softly in the end. If they were fated, they would probably meet again in the future. Ronging, I have to say, your taste is really good. At this moment, Li Fan had already met up with Murong Ing. Both of them were sitting on a helicopter heading to Demon Island. However, Murong Ying's expression did not look good. Li Fan used the excuse that he had gone to chase after the beauty in white last night, so he did not come back. Li Fan said a lot of nice words. Finally, Murong Ying's expression became better. Just who is that girl in white? Besides them, there were only soldiers armed with live ammunition on the helicopter. Murong Ying asked directly without any scruples. I haven't asked her yet. However, I guess she is closely related to Demon Island. Could it be that there are other people living on Demon Island? Murong Ying felt it was strange. Who knows? However, let's ask around when we get to Pole Island. Pole Island was not far from Demon Island. It was originally desolate and uninhabited. However, in order to suppress Demon Island, soldiers from many countries were stationed there. Those who did not know would think that various countries were going to war on Demon Island. At that time, you have to listen to my command. Li Fan looked at the boundless sea below. When I tell you to go, you have to listen to my command. Don't look down on me. Murong Ying was not convinced. Who in this world can rival the two of us? I hope so, but I don't know why, but I have a bad premonition. Don't think too much. Murong Ying comforted Li Fan. Let's not talk about other things. Both you and I are martial saints. Could it be that the girl in white last night is stronger than you? No, but she is still a semi-sage. Li Fan voiced out his conjecture. A half-step sage expert can't just throw his life away for others. Especially that girl's martial art is very strange. Her long hair is like a sword. Even you and I can't train our hair, can we? Of course not. Can Imperial Concubine Zhou? Murong Ying asked. How, of course not. Li Fan could see through Murong Ying's thoughts. He could not help but laugh. Pumph. Murong Ying snorted. She was somewhat dissatisfied that her thoughts were seen through. Her ears were slightly red. She turned her head to the window and did not look at Li Fan. However, a goddess was a goddess. Just the sight of her face was enough to make Li Fan spellbound. If he could survive, he really hoped that he could stay with Murong Ying forever. Just when Li Fan was letting his imagination run wild, a soldier at the side suddenly spoke. Officer Li, we have arrived. Chapter 1386. Boar Island was a small island with an area of only a few thousand square meters. In this vast ocean, this island was as small as an ant. However, it was this inconspicuous island that had gathered a lot of people from all over the world. They were all elites. Abel was the new captain of Team A and the third-generation person in charge of Project Zeus. Although the plan to destroy Dragon God Number 1 had failed, the United States did not give up. Gods of Dusk was still constantly developing the latest technology, trying to break the myth of the saint-level masters in China. This time, he led the elites from all over the world and looked at the faintly visible Devil Island in the distance. It was said that a terrible demon was sealed on that island. The plan this time was to land on that island, destroy the demon, and then find a way to get its genes. This way, the United States could still return to the position of hegemon and step on China again. The United States must have the final say on this earth. However, the premise was that they had to defeat the demon first. The general had instructed that in order to complete the mission, they could cooperate with China and borrow the strength of the Chinese masters. When he thought about cooperating with those Chinese monkeys, Abel felt a strong dissatisfaction in his heart. He was an elite of an empire, but he had to rely on a group of people from the East. It was too shameful. Abel decided to remember this shame and take revenge in the future. Why haven't those Chinese arrived yet? Looking at the time, Abel, who was enjoying the sea breeze, said in annoyance. They should be here soon. Beside Abel stood a blonde beauty. Her name was Elizabeth, a member of Project Zeus, and she obeyed Abel's command. The beauty of this blonde beauty attracted the attention of many men on the island. However, the blonde beauty ignored them and only stared at one person, and that was her commander, Abel. In the training school of Team A, Abel was the most outstanding one. He had also completed many field missions with flying colors. Such a powerful man was worthy of her ideal partner. As for the other men, they were weak, pompous, and did not deserve to stand by her side. These Easterners are so arrogant. Commander, I think we shouldn't wait for them? Elizabeth suggested. God is my witness, who wants to wait for them? Abel scolded fiercely, these monkeys don't know the concept of time. They don't know the rules. Do you want me to inform everyone that we are starting to land on the island now? I want to too, but we're a team. Abel waved his hand. Those Easterners really don't know the rules, but as the commander of the team, I have to know how to be patient. Give them a little more time. If we don't see them before 2:00 in the afternoon, we'll immediately land on the island. You are truly magnanimous. Elizabeth admired Abel even more. She felt that his image was incomparably glorious and great. If the two of them knew that Li Fan was late because he was accompanying a girl, they would probably vomit blood. Half an hour later, a helicopter finally arrived and landed on Pole Island. Li Fan and Murong-ing got off the helicopter. The staff of the Joint Parliament immediately went up to receive them. However, the staff's attitude was neither warm nor cold. Li Fan recalled that he had offended the Joint Council in the past, so he didn't say much. In any case, when he arrived on the island, he could only rely on his own fate. He did not expect the experts from other countries to help him. Boss. At this moment, a familiar voice came from the side. Li Fan turned his head to look. It was none other than the current head of the Parker family, William Parker. When he was in America, he had once helped him win the position of the head of the family. Naturally, he had a deep impression of him. Hey, why are you here, kid? When Li Fan saw him, a trace of a smile hung on his face and walked over. This time, the Parker family also has to contribute to the crusade against the Devil Island. When William saw Li Fan, he was a little excited and a little respectful. I thought that boss would probably come, so I took the family's spot and came personally. Recently, my skills have improved. Li Fan looked at William's increasingly powerful breath and praised him. You have the demeanor of a big family head. Hey, with my little ability, it's not worth mentioning in front of boss. William maintained his modesty. I hope boss can give me more pointers. The people around saw that the head of the Parker family was actually so respectful to an Easterner. It was simply unbelievable. Commander, why is that William Parker so friendly with the Chinese? Elizabeth was also a little puzzled. Maybe they have business dealings. Abel was very calm. The Chinese are all nouveau riche. The Parker family likes to deal with the rich the most. That's true. You're really quick-witted. Although Elizabeth was also an expert, when she looked at Abel, she was like a crazy little fangirl. It made many people who liked her a little dazed. However, when Murong-ing came out, the eyes of many men here were attracted by this oriental beauty. Even if the Westerners' aesthetic was somewhat different from the Easterners, a beauty like Murong-ing still conquered them. Although Elizabeth didn't care about these men, she still felt a little uncomfortable being outshone by an Oriental woman. How could an Oriental woman surpass her in terms of charm? Thinking of this, Elizabeth slightly lifted the hem of her skirt, letting her skirt, which was originally pressed on her knees, rise to the position of her thighs. A pair of straight long legs immediately attracted the attention of many people. She was a little proud. With a provocative look, she glanced in the direction of Murong-ing. However, Murong-ing didn't even look at her. This woman was wearing a red cheongsam, holding a treasured sword. She was looking in the direction of Devil's Island, as if she was looking for something. Deliberately mystifying. Boss, when we get to the island, you have to protect me. While William and Li Fan were chatting, William suddenly said, You're a duke, aren't you? Why do you need me to protect you? Li Fan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Boss, as a dark creature, I can feel that there is a terrifying existence on that island. William also smiled bitterly. Originally, I was excited to see you, but now I really regret it. Oh? The existence on the island is so terrifying? Yes, William nodded and then thought of something. Forget it. Since I'm here, I can more or less feel at ease with you around. By the way, boss, I've been very interested in Chinese culture recently. How about you give me a Chinese name? What do you think? Li Fan thought to himself, why does William speak so randomly? This guy wants to call me by a Chinese name? An idea came to Li Fan. Chapter 1387. Since that's the case, I'll help you come up with one. Li Fan says in all seriousness, I think my Chinese culture is broad and profound. Moreover, my language and literature are not bad. Your name naturally needs to be classical and meaningful. Yes. Boss is right. It needs to be classical and meaningful. I want it all. William shouts in his stiff Chinese. You've been silently guarding the family for so long. I think it's better for your surname to be Wei. Moreover, Wei and Wei are quite compatible. Good surname Wei. Guard. It shows that my surname has a lot of status. Responsible. William nods again and again as if he is very satisfied with this surname. Although Murong-ing did not turn her head to look, she pricks up her ears as if attracted by the conversation between Li Fan and William. And you started from the lowest rank of the blood clan as a mixed blood viscount. Now you're the head of the entire Parker family and a duke. In China, this is called rising step by step. Therefore, the second word in your name should be Sheng. Good. This word is very beautiful and auspicious. William claps his hands in praise. And your Parker family is a family that controls a lot of capital. To you, earning money is the most important, right? In China, the word jin is used to describe money. As the saying goes, the young have plenty of gold. As the head of the Parker family, this word jin is really suitable for you. Therefore, the last word in your name should be Jean. That's great. As expected of boss. You're really knowledgeable. Then my name will be N. Wei Xingjin. Nice, really nice. From now on, I will be Wei Xingjin. Puchi. The nearby Murong-ing finally can't help but laugh out loud. But she quickly turns her head away and suppresses her laughter. Boss, why is Miss Murong laughing? She gave you such a nice name. She's sincerely happy. Li Fan replies with a smile. So that's how it is. Miss Murong is really a good person. Thank you, Miss Murong, for your concern. William fell into deep thought. But boss, what is the meaning behind this name? Your understanding of Chinese culture is still too shallow. You only know the surface. Li Fan criticized William. When you study more, you'll slowly understand the meaning behind it. All right, I will definitely study more. William nodded vigorously. That's more like it. Li Fan looked at the distant Demon Island. When we reach the island, try to stay close to me. Okay, I'll definitely follow behind bosses but closely. William hurriedly agreed. He didn't dare to stay far away. Prepare to land on the island. Abel looked at the time. The noon sun was very dazzling. An aircraft carrier was quietly parked next to it, along with several frigates sent by various countries. Li Fan and Murong-ing followed Parker and boarded a frigate. And Abel was also on this ship. When he saw Li Fan coming over, he immediately went forward and saluted him. Senior Colonel Li, right? I'm the commander this time, Abel Bordeaux. Hello, Commander Abel. Li Fan greeted him and got to know him. Although the higher-ups wanted to cooperate with the Joint Council, they didn't say to what extent. It was fine to just give them some face. Li Fan didn't want to have too much contact with them anyway. Especially when he looked at the surrounding frigates and the aircraft carrier, they were aggressively heading towards the Demon Island. With such great fanfare, were they going to start a war with some country? If these could threaten the people on the Demon Island, why would they come here? 1 aircraft carrier and 9 frigates were heading straight towards the Demon Island. When we reach the island, I hope you two can follow my orders. Abel said to Li Fan. I know you Huaxia people don't follow the rules, But since you're in my team, I won't be polite if you don't follow the rules. Abel first put on a show of strength. Before Li Fan could speak, Murong-ing spoke first. What? You're meddling in our affairs. Murong-ing stared at Abel coldly. Come, give me an order. With how proud Murong-ing was, how could she allow this person to ride on her head? Too presumptuous. Elizabeth shouted. She stretched out her hand, and a crimson flame burned in her palm. I'm the inheritor of the fire god of Team A. Whoever dares to disobey Abel's management will be going against the gods of dusk. As she spoke, the flame in Elizabeth's hand rose more than a meter high, like a furnace. The surrounding soldiers felt the heat and subconsciously took 2 steps back, avoiding the scorching heat. Elizabeth was a little proud. Her flame could even melt steel, let alone these 2 Huaxia people who didn't know the rules. After seeing her power, they should know fear. Murong-ing coldly snorted. Her hand gently rested on the hilt of her sword. But at this moment, the ship's alarms suddenly rang. Everyone looked up and saw 9 figures walking in the air. Each of them picked a ship and landed on it. The one who landed on Li Fan's ship was very familiar. It was the white-clothed beauty who came to his villa yesterday. Little handsome, what a coincidence. We meet again. The beauty winked at Li Fan. Murong-ing then sent a contemptuous look. Ahem, don't misunderstand. There's nothing going on between us. Li Fan explained. Humph, you didn't get the chance. Otherwise, this beauty wouldn't be able to escape your clutches. How can you say that? I'm a serious person. Really? Would a serious person even accept Imperial Concubine Zhou? Murong-ing pointed out. From Imperial Concubine Zhou to little senior sister, you didn't let anyone go. What are you trying to snatch this time around? Li Fan scolded the white-clothed beauty. What do you mean I want to steal? It's obviously you who came to my house to make trouble. The white-clothed beauty giggled and said, with so many people, I can't even entertain them all. Commander, these 9 women look exactly the same. At this time, the soldier next to him reported, moreover. From their bodies, I detected a powerful energy. Abel seemed a little surprised. He immediately questioned the girl. Quickly tell me, who are you? Hee, such a straightforward handsome guy. What if I don't want to say? As soon as the white-clothed beauty's voice fell, the surrounding hundreds of soldiers all raised their carbine guns and aimed at the white-clothed beauty. If you don't want to say, then die. On the Demon Island, Abel was exceptionally cold and ruthless. Other than the people on the ship, the rest were all enemies. Brothers, you guys are so fierce. I'm scared. The white-clothed beauty said and suddenly appeared beside Li Fan and breathed into his ear, Little handsome, can you protect me? Chapter 1388. Everyone's eyes fell on Li Fan. At that moment, Li Fan saw suspicion, fear, hatred, and even a trace of envy. Bang! Li Fan did not hesitate. He raised his hand and pushed the beauty in white more than 5 meters away. The beauty gently landed on the ground and tilted her head to look at Li Fan. Little handsome, why don't you have tender feelings for the fairer sex? Could it be that you like men? I'm not interested in unknown women. Li Fan added a sentence, especially when my wife is here. That's a pity. I still want to have a good time with you. The beauty in white sighed. Shut up. Abel angrily shouted, who told you to flirt here? If you don't tell me, then die. All the bullets were loaded and ready to fire at any time. So fierce, but it doesn't matter. The beauty in white suddenly jumped up and landed on the flagpole at the side. She looked at the people below. Because you can't kill me. Instead, I want to kill you. Such a big tone. For you. Elizabeth couldn't bear it anymore. She held the flame in her hand and asked, You came to my house, but you don't know who I am? The beauty in white said with a bit of ridicule, Go down and ask the king of hell. With that, the hair behind the beauty in white fluttered. A powerful energy also exploded from her body. Kill her. Abel saw the danger she was in. Without hesitation, he immediately ordered to shoot this woman. The surrounding soldiers opened fire. Bullets rained down. However, the beauty in white smiled. Her hair turned into 10 sharp blades and waved around her. Ding ding dang dang. Sparks exploded in the air. It was so dazzling but so dangerous. The bullets were bounced back to the soldiers. The beauty in white was powerful and was not afraid of bullets. However, the soldiers were all mortals. They couldn't stand it. After a round of bullets, there were no less than 20 soldiers lying on the ground. Everyone stop. Abel was a bit distressed. These were all soldiers contributed by the U.S. Empire. Ordinary soldiers definitely couldn't deal with her. He had to send out experts. Elizabeth, take care of her. Yes. Elizabeth opened her palm and shot a fireball at the white-clothed beauty. This scarlet fireball was like a cannonball, instantly hitting the white-clothed beauty. The white-clothed beauty flicked her hair. Her hair was like a sharp blade, instantly cutting the fireball into several pieces. However, Elizabeth's lips curled into a smile. Her fingers moved, and the few balls of flames that had been cut apart began to swim. Like maggots in a tarsal bone, they landed on the hair of the white-dressed beauty. You think my flames are that easy to deal with? However, the white-robed beauty did not seem to care. She allowed her hair to burn. Even his entire body was engulfed by the flames. However, this dense burning flame seemed to be wearing clothes on the body of the white-clothed beauty. Elizabeth was stunned. She could not believe her eyes. His flames had actually failed? Who was this person? How could he not be afraid of being burned? This flame of yours is still a little lacking. The white-clothed beauty giggled and said, "This little amount of heat is not even enough to fry an egg." Impossible. What sorcery did you use? Invincible divine weapon. As the white-clothed beauty spoke, her hair once again fluttered in the wind, transforming into 10 sharp blades. Wrapped in flames, they shot out in all directions. Her hair was like the scythe of the Grim Reaper, cutting through the surrounding soldiers, harvesting their lives. The 10 sharp blades directly pierced into the deck of the frigate, piercing through the frigate. Rumble! The entire frigate began to tremble. The waterline rapidly rose as the entire ship slowly sank into the sea. Damn, this woman is so scary. William was scared to death. Originally, the face of the bloodlings was already pale, but now, it was turning white. William, send everyone to the aircraft carrier. Li Fan took a glance and realized that only the aircraft carrier was still alive. The remaining 9 frigates were all scrapped. William did not dare to hesitate. He immediately swung his chain and wrapped it around the bodies of the others on the ship. He brought them up and landed on the aircraft carrier. Wife, the escort of the aircraft carrier will be left to you. Li Fan gave the second order. Murong-ing also leaped up and landed on the aircraft carrier. Damn it, why did this woman run away? Elizabeth raged, "Coward, no!" Before she could finish her sentence, a sword suddenly popped out and pointed at her throat. Elizabeth felt a cold sensation on her throat, as if she was suffocating. One more word and I will kill without mercy. Li Fan was kind and gentle just a moment ago, but at this moment, he was filled with killing intent. Elizabeth was stunned for a long time. Waves of fear assaulted her heart, forcing her to swallow the rest of her words. Yo, little handsome boy, you really like to ruthlessly destroy flowers. The white-clothed beauty stood on the flagpole and looked at Li Fan. Her eyes were filled with charm, as if she wanted to melt Li Fan. Li Fan muttered in his heart, "This girl really rowed the boat not with oars, but with waves. Come down and talk." Li Fan extended his hand and pulled at the white-clothed beauty, activating Dragon Capture Hand. A strong suction force landed on the white-clothed beauty's body, causing the white-clothed beauty to laugh. "It's this move again? It's useless against me." "Not necessarily." Li Fan smiled. This time, he completely mobilized his inner force, filling his palm like a whirlpool. The white-clothed beauty originally thought that she would be able to resist Li Fan's power again, but she never thought that Li Fan's strength would be so strong. Her feet slipped and she fell down, falling towards Li Fan. "Little handsome boy, I'm coming." The white-clothed beauty quickly smiled again. Her hair once again turned into a sharp blade. Following Li Fan's strength, it descended from the sky and stabbed towards Li Fan. She was already very powerful. Now that she borrowed Li Fan's strength, her whole body turned into a sword and stabbed in front of Li Fan in an instant. Li Fan gently retreated, and at the same time, he raised his palm and struck out with a frosty aura. Mysterious Dragon Ice Palm, Mysterious Dragon Spitting Pearls, 100% power. A ball of energy hit the white-robed beauty and sent her flying. With a loud clang, she smashed into a frigate on the opposite side, directly smashing a hole in the ship's deck. Such a powerful combat strength caused Elizabeth and the others to stare with their eyes wide open. This Chinese man is actually so strong? The white-clothed beauty that even my flames can't do anything to, can't even withstand one move from Li Fan? However, Li Fan narrowed his eyes because the opponent's strength has completely exceeded the half-saint realm, and is infinitely close to the saint realm. Chapter 1389. Was this the true power of the white-clothed beauty? Li Fan frowned slightly. There were 9 identical white-clothed beauties here, and each of them had a power close to the sage level. Motherfucker, since when were half-saints everywhere and martial saints as numerous as dogs? It seemed that the demon island couldn't be underestimated. Handsome, you are so heartless. I am very sad. The white-clothed beauty looked at Li Fan gloomily and said, I will play with you until here today. I will be waiting for you on the demon island. As the white-clothed beauty spoke, she pulled herself out of the corvette and slowly floated into the air. We will meet again someday. These words were left behind in the air. When Yang Ling raised his head, the white-clothed beauty had already used her lightness technique and entered the demon island. At this moment, the sky above the demon island, which was originally clear, was suddenly filled with a black fog that covered the sky. This black fog even contained faint red lightning. It was extremely terrifying, and it engulfed the bodies of the 9 white-clothed beauties. At this moment, the corvettes in the surroundings had already sunk into the sea. They had become sacrifices for the demon island, just like the warriors who had been sacrificed on them. Li Fan used the dragon soaring through the 9 heavens in the air and flew to the deck of the aircraft carrier. Murong Ing wore a red Chong Sam and stood there quietly, waiting for Li Fan's return. Boss? What is the background of those women? William was the first to approach Yang Ling. He had a worried expression on his face as he said, Can we still attack the demon island? Don't worry. We will cross the bridge when we come to it. Li Fan comforted William. Actually, he was also a little uncertain. This group of women had only come to cause trouble, but they hadn't revealed anything about their background. While Li Fan was puzzled, his satellite phone suddenly rang. This satellite phone was given to Li Fan by Lin Luo through a special method. It was specially used for contacting people. Boss, I am on my way to the demon island. Please wait for a moment. Don't enter the demon island. This place is getting more and more strange. Li Fan quickly instructed them. We are preparing to enter the demon island. You can just wait outside. Li Fan roughly calculated the time. In 3 days, if we don't come out, you guys leave first and return to Li Family Island. Forgive me for not being able to comply. Bai Lin Luo couldn't take it anymore. You want us to abandon you and run for our lives? Absolutely impossible. I will naturally think of a way. Li Fan warned Bai Lin Luo, obey orders. But, no buts. Just wait at Pole Island. Li Fan's attitude was very unyielding. He didn't want Bai Lin Luo and the others to die in vain on the evil Devil Island. Commander Abel, what should we do next? Someone asked Abel for advice. Leave the wounded and wait for the rescue team from the Union Council. Abel thought for a moment and ordered, I will choose 100 elites to go to the evil demon island later. Some were excited, some were looking forward to it, and some were scared. I am willing to follow Master Abel. Elizabeth immediately stood up. I, Elizabeth, am willing to be a sharp sword in your hand. Very good, Elizabeth. You are a qualified warrior. The loss just now is nothing. You will become even stronger after understanding the reason for your failure. Yes, my master. Elizabeth was very happy. As long as she could help Abel, she wouldn't hesitate even if it cost her life. In Elizabeth's heart, the mission was only secondary. Romantic love was the first. This beautiful Elizabeth was a mixed blood of 3 countries: England, France, and Italy. To her, love was the most important. Now I will begin to choose. These 100 people were all the most outstanding warriors. We will work together to conquer the evil demon island and protect our families. Abel was very brave. His words made everyone's blood boil again. Their fear of the evil demon island also decreased a little. Abel looked at the crowd. He reached out his hand and began to call the roll. Carter, young knight of the Round Table, we need you. Kagazangryu, your ninjutsu is the best against the demons. Orav, you are the most outstanding Roman warrior. Please cut through the thorns for me. Duke William, you are a powerful and ancient vampire. I desire your help. Li Fan, Murong-ing, you two also need to go. When Abel spoke to Li Fan and Murong-ing, it was more like a command. This made Murong-ing unhappy again. We will go in ourselves. Murong-ing rejected Abel's order. Good luck when we get to the island. You Huaxia people are too much. Elizabeth couldn't help but scold. How dare you disobey a military order? Do you want to be court-martialed? Military order? Li Fan was a little unhappy. Don't use military order to pressure me. I am not a soldier of the gods of dusk. I am only cooperating with you. Arrogant Chinese. Abel was extremely annoyed. These damned Huaxia people dared to provoke his dignity again and again. Although the higher-ups had asked him to temporarily cooperate with the Chinese people, they couldn't tolerate it anymore. This demon island is full of danger. If you don't follow the team, you will be courting death. Abel looked at Li Fan and asked again. I will give you one last chance. As long as you admit your mistakes and sincerely repent, I will allow you to return to the team. No need. The road is facing the sky. Let's go our separate ways. All right, as you wish. Abel sneered. I knew you would say that. When we get to the demon island, let's see how you 2 Chinese people die. Let's go. Li Fan pulled Murong-ing's hand. The 2 were about to leave. William hurriedly followed them and shouted. Boss, wait for me. Let's go together. Duke William. Abel was shocked. This Duke William was a powerful fighting force. What was he going to do? Where are you going? Of course, I will follow the boss. William rolled his eyes. Do you want me to follow you, trash? After saying that, William eagerly chased after Li Fan. Li Fan and Murong-ing held hands. The 2 were like a celestial couple. They used their qinggong and jumped into the black cloud. A pair of black bat wings spread out behind William and flew in. Abel was a little dumbfounded. Duke William was the head of the Parker family. Even when he talked to him, he ignored him. Now, he was willing to follow a Chinese? This world was really crazy. This humiliation, he must return it to that Huaxia man untouched. Don't worry about those people. The mission is more important. Let's go. Abel waved his hand. The 100 people he selected took turns to board the helicopter on the aircraft carrier and flew into the black cloud. Chapter 1390. Li Fan and Murong-ing held hands as they used their lightness skills and dived into the dark clouds. The visibility in the dark clouds was very low, and they were surrounded by rolling red lightning. The lightning was twisting in the dark clouds like terrifying snake demons. They were displaying their strength and malevolence to Li Fan. There's an uncomfortable aura here. Murong-ing gently covered her nose as if she was uncomfortable. It's a little stifling. Li Fan felt his heart palpitate. It was as if there was a huge rock pressing down on his heart, making him feel unhappy. There seemed to be a powerful creature in this place that was emitting a terrifying aura. It's an evil aura. Li Fan and the rest turned their heads and saw William flapping his wings and flying in. It's very similar to our aura. It's very dark. In that case, Li Fan extended his hand and grabbed William's arm, allowing him and Murong-ing to fly in the air. Damn boss, it's so heavy. William almost fell. You're a duke. How can you not have this bit of strength? Fly quickly. Be careful of the lightning in front. Boo-hoo, boss, I'm not a means of transportation. William wanted to cry. Lad, keep it up. I believe you can do it. William could only allow Li Fan to grab him. He tried his best to flap his wings and fly through the dark clouds. Rolling red lightning kept exploding in his ears, making William's heart palpitate. If not for his boss, he wouldn't have dared to come to this island. Because he was a duke of the blood race. As a dark creature, he instinctively feared stronger creatures. Everyone be careful. Li Fan also had a bad premonition. Devil Island was definitely not a good place. He didn't know where the 4 sages' successors had gone. They hadn't shown up even at this time. We can see land in front. Let's land. Li Fan's vital energy gathered in his eyes. He looked at the ground and immediately instructed William. Spus. William flew over obediently. The 3 of them finally passed through the terrifying clouds and arrived on the island. This island was verdant and lush, surrounded by mountains and rivers. It looked like a paradise on earth, beautiful beyond compare. Between the mountains and rivers, animals were the true masters. For a moment, the birds flew and the beasts flew away. It was hard to imagine that such a beautiful place would be sealed by a terrifying demon. It's beautiful here. Murong-ing couldn't help but let out a sigh. It would be nice if I could stay here for the rest of my life. Our Li family island is not worse than this. Li Fan laughed heartily. Moreover, there are no demons. When the time comes, we can build a small building, enclose a small courtyard, raise children and play with them. Isn't that great? We'll see. Murong-ing responded indifferently, as if she didn't want to answer Li Fan's question. Murong-ing couldn't tell what the road ahead would be like. Murong-ing didn't dare to guarantee that she would be able to seal the evil demon and face an unknown and terrifying opponent. William placed the 2 of them on the top of a mountain and sat beside them, panting heavily. Am I that heavy? Murong-ing glanced at William intentionally or unintentionally. No, how could that be? William was so scared that his scalp went numb. Oh my God, Li Fan could be considered as his half-master. Then Miss Murong could be considered as his master's wife. If this master's wife was unhappy, his master would be unhappy. If his master was unhappy, how could he be happy? Master's wife, you're so beautiful. You're like a fairy from the east. Your figure is so graceful and agile. How could you use the word heavy? Master's wife? Murong-ing ignored William's flattery and raised her eyebrows. I taught him some martial arts. He can be considered as half a master. Li Fan hurriedly explained. So that's the case. Then follow us. Murong-ing seemed to be in a good mood. Don't go too far. Master's wife will protect you. Thank you, Master's wife. You're not only beautiful but you're also so powerful. No wonder Master likes you so much. William's mouth was very sweet, allowing Murong-ing to enjoy it. Li Fan said that he had become a bit stupid from practicing martial arts. Looks like in terms of coaxing a girl, he would have to seek advice from this disciple of his. Do you guys think that people will live in this place? Li Fan stood on the top of the mountain. His internal force gathered in his eyes as he gazed into the distance. If there were people living here, it wouldn't be so picturesque, right? Murong-ing said with a deep meaning, only a place without any human habitation would have such beautiful scenery. The evil aura here is so heavy. William gazed into the distance. It's at that place. He stretched out his hand and pointed. Li Fan looked over but could not see anything. In terms of sensing evil aura, William was definitely an expert. Then let's head over there. Li Fan decided to take a look. However, Murong-ing looked back and reminded Li Fan. They're here. As soon as he said that, he heard the sound of helicopter propellers. Li Fan followed the sound and saw no less than 20 helicopters flying in. Li Fan's eyes were like an eagle's. He saw Abel sitting on top of it in high spirits. Carpet bombing. No matter what kind of demon it is, blast them into pieces. With Abel's order, the missiles hanging from the helicopters immediately flew down. One by one, They landed on the island. The flaming mushrooms rose one after another on the island as if they were free. They rose into the sky like the magic of the god of destruction, destroying the creatures on the island. The birds and beasts that were originally living comfortably were instantly killed and injured. The lucky ones ran in all directions, but they didn't know where to go to escape. Looking at the burning demon island, Li Fan's face turned gloomy. A missile flew towards their direction. It was unknown if it was intentional or if it was an accident. However, Li Fan waved his hand and activated the dragon catcher hand. The missile was controlled by his internal force and flew diagonally towards the sky before exploding in midair. This is too much. Murong Ying's delicate body trembled. She clenched her fists tightly. Her pair of beautiful eyes seemed to be on fire. Humans are the most terrifying demons. Li Fan could only sigh. Although these people were too much, he couldn't annihilate the Alliance's army. What a bunch of uncultured fellows. William also looked at them with disdain. Boss, do you want me to help you stop them? Forget it. Li Fan waved his hand. Naturally, there will be people who will help us. As soon as he said that, a white figure jumped into the sky and landed on a helicopter. A beauty in white. Destroying my home. You people are the real demons. As the beauty in white said that, her long hair flew up and turned into a black long sword. It directly pierced through the helicopter and killed the pilot. Chapter 1391. The white-clothed beauty fluttered in the air like a white butterfly. Her hair had already turned into a giant scythe, spinning as she danced, cutting the helicopters around her in half. What a sharp hair! Li Fan stood on the mountain peak and watched the white-clothed beauty's performance. He couldn't help but mutter, is it the ability of her hair itself, or is it because she infused her hair with a power similar to inner force to form such an effect? I'm not sure, but this woman is very strong. Murong Ying also saw some clues. Her strength is close to that of a holy level, right? Almost. Li Fan nodded, and she has very skilled fighting skills, so she should not be an ordinary master. But there are actually 8 other women like her, and all of them look exactly the same, but the techniques they use are all different. Some use fire and some use lightning. It's like the legendary magic. Let's observe more. Li Fan watched the battle in the air, watching the white-clothed beauty destroy helicopters one after another. Li Fan's emotions did not waver at all. This was the price they had to pay. They were willing to destroy this island and slaughter all the creatures here. Naturally, they had to be prepared to be killed by the other side. Kill her. Abel snorted coldly. This time, they came prepared. Although they had sacrificed some of their companions, this white-clothed beauty would not be able to escape. 5 helicopters hovered in the air, surrounding the white-clothed beauty in the center. Then a strange sound wave shot out from the 5 helicopters, hitting the white-clothed beauty's body. Li Fan had seen this kind of sound wave before, and it almost made him fall. Now that he used it again, it was indeed amazing. The white-clothed beauty screamed, covered her ears, and fell from the sky, heavily smashing into the forest below. Do you know how powerful we are now? Did they really think that the gods of dusk were easy to bully? If the tiger doesn't show its power, do they think we are sick cats? Today, he was going to completely destroy this devil island, turn everything into dust, and let everyone know how powerful the gods of dusk was. This power, this dignity, could not be violated. Blow everything up. Abel waved his hand. Activate the Zeus satellite and destroy this place with level 9 lightning. Commander, this place is covered by a strange force field. The satellites can't lock onto this place. The soldier immediately reported. Since that's the case, bring out the earthquake-grade shockwave grenades. Reporting, Commander. We came in a hurry, so we only prepared 10 earthquake-grade grenades. The soldier continued to report. From 1 to 5, each helicopter carried 2 bombs. These 5 helicopters are protected at the back of the team, so the stun grenades are still intact and can be launched at any time. Very good. Adam was very happy and pointed to the jungle below. Flatten the jungle. Commander, the Huaxia people are down there too. In order to suppress the demons, there must be some sacrifices. Abel seemed to be heartbroken. Don't waste their efforts. Drop the bomb. Yes. Earthquaking grenades were the strategic weapons of the Empire. A single one was enough to turn everything within 1,000 meters into scorched earth. The woman in white was down there, and Adam had destroyed her body. Number 1, 30 o'clock direction, 30 meters away. Prepare to launch the samurai. Number 1 received, launching countdown, 10, 9, 8. It seems like something terrible is going to fall. Li Fan stood on the mountain peak and looked at the helicopters circling above his head. He sensed something. Yeah, they want to flatten this place. The woman in white stood beside Li Fan without him knowing, looking at the helicopters above their heads. So scary. Humans are really getting more and more scary. You're talking as if you're not human. Just as Li Fan finished speaking, a huge missile was thrown down from the helicopter. This missile fell vertically, and the propeller at the tail of the missile started to spin. This missile directly smashed in front of Li Fan and the others, heavily embedding into the soil. Shit. William saw this missile. Even Parker's leader couldn't help but panic. This is an earthquaking grenade. We're dead for sure. Don't panic. Li Fan clasped his hands together and activated his inner force. True Dragon Golden Body, 130% power. A huge golden body suddenly appeared, more than 5 meters tall, directly enveloping Li Fan and the others. The woman in white was also hiding inside, but Li Fan didn't chase her away and let her stay inside. What is that? Seeing a huge golden body suddenly appear from the ground, Elizabeth cried out in surprise. He just stared at the golden body. Could it be that it was the last resort of that Huaxia person before he died? Anyway, he's going to turn into dust, let him be. Abel laughed coldly. He didn't take this Huaxia person's move to heart. In front of an earthquaking grenade, all martial arts were paper tigers. In an instant, the grenade exploded. The earth shook, the mountains shook, the sky fell, and the earth cracked. A huge mushroom cloud rose into the sky, as if it was a demon that wanted to devour everything. After stabilizing the helicopter, Abel sighed. Li Fan was willing to sacrifice himself for the safety of the world. He's really a role model of my generation. We must always remember his contributions, and he will live in everyone's heart. Before he finished speaking, the golden body's light pierced through the sky, and he was stunned. What's going on? Abel stared at the huge golden body. The mountain peak was raised to the ground, but Li Fan was still standing there, safe and sound, along with his partner and that damned woman in white. What the hell, why are they still alive? What on earth was that giant golden figure? Phew! Li Fan spat out a mouthful of turbid air and looked at his own golden body with satisfaction. This set of defense secret art that he created was getting more and more useful. It could even block a missile of this level. If there's a chance in the future, I'll try to face a nuclear bomb head-on. Li Fan was full of confidence, but Abel kept cursing in his heart. God, does this Huaxia person know magic? Thinking that his plan had failed, and he even wasted a grenade, Abel's heart ached so much that he wanted to vomit blood. Boss, your martial arts are so powerful. Can you teach me? Seeing that Li Fan blocked the terrible grenade, William's mouth couldn't close, and his eyes were full of little stars of admiration. It's a little difficult for you to learn this move. My skill is yang, and your blood race magic is yin. You can attack, but not enough defense. Sigh, what a pity, William sighed, and the woman in white next to him came forward and hugged Li Fan's arm. What about me? Can I learn it? Chapter 1392. William is envious of the golden body, but because the blood tribe's method is more feminine, he can't learn it. The beauty in white directly steps forward and holds Li Fan's arm. The softness in front of her chest made Li Fan lose control of his mind. Until Murong Ing coughs twice, Li Fan comes back to his senses and gently pushes away this beauty. A beauty's favor is really hard to bear. Li Fan chuckles. After all, Murong Ing is here, so he can only pretend to be a gentleman. Do I really make you dislike me so much? The beauty in white pouted her mouth in grievance. This small appearance really makes Li Fan feel a little distressed. This woman, how can she be so beautiful, making people feel pity for her? This heroine, at least tell me your name, okay? Handsome, you're not interested in my body. Instead, you're interested in my name. The beauty in white doesn't seem to see the nearby Murong Ing. Her eyes are only looking at Li Fan. She even sticks close to his ear, whispering like a couple's whisper, "My name is Amorous." Amorous? Li Fan mutters in his heart, "Is there someone with this name? This woman is not here to make fun of me, right? I have already told you, it's up to you whether you believe it or not." The beauty in white says, takes 2 steps back, with her hands behind her back, standing in front of Li Fan. That pretty face has a touch of charm that can't be melted. Heaven has no good intentions. Fox girls are affectionate. After saying that, the beauty in white lightly steps on the ground, and her whole body flies more than 10 meters away. In his ears, he can still faintly hear her words. "Little handsome brother, it's not time for us to meet. Let's meet again later." With that, she uses Qinggong and flies away. This woman. What is her background? Heaven has no good intentions. Fox girls are affectionate? What does this sentence mean? As Li Fan thinks about it, he can't help but be lost in thought. "Hey, have you seen enough?" Murong Ying's cold voice suddenly rang in his ears. Li Fan quickly turned his head and explained, Wife, that's not what I meant. Humph, is it nice? It doesn't look good. Compared to my wife's back view, it's a far cry." Li Fan knew that Murong Ing was a big vinegar jar. At this time, he did not dare to say anything else, so he said something nice first. Murong Ing sheathed her long sword, turned around and walked in the direction of the white-robed beauty. "Hey, where are you going? Let's go find that demon." Murong Ing rolled her eyes at Li Fan. "Follow her. We'll definitely find it. My wife is smart." Li Fan flattered him without batting an eyelid. "Now that you mention it, I understand immediately. Boss, what do we do with those idiots?" William pointed to the helicopters hovering overhead. "Let them play by themselves." Li Fan could not be bothered with the life and death of these people, but William was a little unhappy. "Boss, that Abel clearly wanted to blow you up just now. Aren't you going to take revenge?" "These clowns, I can't be bothered with them." Li Fan did not put Abel in his eyes at all. Right now, the overall situation is the most important. The crusade against the demon is not over yet. I don't want to have unnecessary disputes. Killing each other will only let the demon on the island have the last laugh. Just now, I gave him one last chance. If this guy wants to provoke me again, I won't be so polite anymore. Okay, then I'll listen to boss. I won't lower myself to the level of these idiots. William swallowed his anger first. At the same time, he muttered in his heart, "Abel and those bastards, why don't they have the foresight of boss?" Those Huaxia people actually survived. Elizabeth was a little unhappy. They were really lucky. This is a good thing. Abel laughed. After all, they are comrades. We should be happy that they are alive. I sincerely admire your magnanimity. But those Huaxia people are really shameless. They were greedy for their lives and even saved the demoness. Yes, this is indeed a little inappropriate. Abel let out a long sigh. But everyone has their own aspirations. The Huaxia people are greedy for life and afraid of death, but we have to work hard together with them. Even if we have to sacrifice our lives, we have to crusade against that damned demon and protect our home. Sir, we are willing to sacrifice our lives for you. We will lead the way. Everyone was extremely moved and expressed their loyalty. Okay, let's work hard together. Everything is for the sake of saving the world. Abel's slogan was extremely loud, but in his heart, he was thinking about how to kill Li Fan and obtain his genes. Then, he would become a truly powerful existence. For himself, for the Empire, Li Fan must die. He did not kill him this time, but Abel believed that sooner or later, there would be a chance to kill this guy. Sir, what should we do now? Elizabeth asked. Follow the direction that the white-clothed woman left and chase after her. When we find that damned demon, gather all the firepower and kill him. You are wise. Elizabeth admired Abel from the bottom of her heart. Not only was Sir Abel strong, but his mind was also very clear. Those Huaxia people really did not know what was good for them. They actually dared to go against Sir Abel. It was simply a road to death. Without Sir Abel, they would not be able to move an inch on this island. That William, who was obviously the head of a big family, was actually so stupid to go and rely on two Huaxia people. In the end, he was still too young. Perhaps, the Parker family would also be ruined because of this Duke William. Then where did Amorous go? After following for a long time, Li Fan realized that he had lost track of the white-clothed beauty. This woman's whereabouts were really strange. She did not use qigong. Murong Ying looked at the surrounding leaves and grass and judged the traces left by the white-clothed beauty when she left. No matter how good qigong is, stepping on the grass will leave a little trace. But there are no traces at all here. So, I guess that the woman flew back. Murong Ying gave a bold guess. Flew back? The more Li Fan listened, the more shocked he was. My goodness, did she really cultivate to become an immortal? There is actually such a magical power? Things are getting more and more interesting. I am really a little excited now. Li Fan was in high spirits, causing Murong Ying to smile bitterly. You, just can't stay idle. It's not that I can't stay idle. My martial arts have already reached the peak. Li Fan looked at Murong Ying and said very seriously, for martial arts, the saint rank is indeed the limit. But this year, I am only in my early 20s. I still want to break through and become stronger. And that's true. If you want to become stronger, I will accompany you. Murong Ying nodded. Let's see if we can find the legendary true immortal arts here. That's great, thank you. Looking at Murong Ying's unwavering gaze, Li Fan felt gratified. No matter how hostile the two of them were outside, at this moment, on this island, the two of them depended on each other and would never leave each other. Chapter 1393. The white-clothed beauty was nowhere to be found. If Li Fan wanted to find her, there was only one way. William walked in front and used his unique ability to sense evil energy. Li Fan was not envious of this unique ability, and it could be said that he was not envious at all. Boss, I'm a little, as he walked, William muttered. They were surrounded by mountains and forests. The trees swayed in the wind, and the leaves rustled. It was as if the forest was whispering. William, are you afraid? Li Fan could not help but ask. How can that be? Then why are your calves trembling? Yes, a little calcium deficiency. Li Fan wanted to laugh. This guy was still stubborn. Don't worry. With me and your mistress here, you won't be at a disadvantage. Boss is right. What's there to be afraid of? This guy laughed dryly. Li Ran was helpless. He was clearly afraid. But it was not his fault. That girl was indeed very powerful, especially when there was an even more terrifying great devil here. Just enduring that terrifying aura was already too much for him to bear. How much further? Seeing that the forest seemed endless, Li Fan could not help but ask. Almost there. William estimated the distance. It's less than 10 kilometers away. We're already so close? Li Fan looked ahead and found that there was still nothing unusual in front of him. But on this island, everything was incomparably strange, so Li Fan was no longer surprised, and began to have a spirit of reverence for everything. There seems to be something ahead. Murong Ying was deep in thought as she stared ahead. What is it? Li Fan looked into the distance and did not find anything strange. Look carefully. Isn't the scenery in the distance a little distorted? Murong Ying's observation was very meticulous. She stretched out her hand and pointed. Li Fan carefully identified it and found that his wife was right. The scenery in the distance really did not have any flaws if one did not look carefully. Li Fan admired Murong Ying's terrifying observation skills. You also have to observe more. This is the foundation of a martial artist. Yes, yes, my wife is right. Looking at Li Fan's cheeky face, Murong-ing knew that he didn't take it to heart. However, since they were enemies, she could only sigh lightly. You didn't take the things I told you to heart. Murong-ing scolded in a low voice. No one is perfect. Li Fan shamelessly said, if I can't do it well, then my wife can do it for me. You're dreaming. Murong-ing turned her head away, as if she couldn't be bothered with Li Fan, but the corners of her mouth were clearly raised, as if she was happy. Wife, what do you think we should do now? You're the one in charge and you're asking me. All right then, let's go there and take a look. Li Fan once again pulled Murong-ing's small hand. No matter if it's a dragon's pool or a tiger's den in front, I'll accompany you. Good. Murong-ing seemed to be happy, but William, who had been scouting ahead, had a sullen face. Damn it, I always feel like I'm a super third wheel. The three of them were experts, and their footsteps were extremely fast. In a short while, they had already arrived at the place where the illusion was. When Li Fan came closer to take a look, he discovered that there seemed to be a ripple in front of him, making the forest in front of him look illusory and real, somewhat mysterious. Looks like it's here. Li Fan stood in front of the illusion. He stretched out his hand and lightly tapped on the illusion. A clear ripple immediately spread out, causing William to cry out in surprise. He had lived for so long, but he had never seen such a scene. It's an illusion. Li Fan boldly guessed. This place is completely hidden. Are we going in? Of course, we're going in. Li Fan has already made a decision. No matter what terrible thing was in front of him, he had to see it to the end. William, are you going in with us, or are you going to guard here? Li Fan knew that William was timid, so he didn't force him. He just smiled and asked, letting William make his own choice. Boss. Although I'm not strong enough, I can still help boss a little. William, as the patriarch of the Parker family, how could he retreat in this kind of place? Although he was a little afraid, he still followed them resolutely. All right, since that's the case, I'll definitely protect you. Li Fan was very pleased. Although William was timid, he was very loyal to him, which was rare. In the future, when he fought with the U.S. Empress, he would naturally need William's help. I believe boss. My status today was originally given by boss, so I have no regrets handing this life to you. Very good. Li Fan stretched out his hand and touched the illusion barrier. Li Fan's hand passed through the illusion, followed by his whole body. Together with Murong-ing, they passed through the invisible wall and arrived at their destination. A huge stone door appeared in front of them. The stone door was more than 10 meters high and 3 meters wide. On both sides were stone pillars with coiling dragons. On top of it was a plaque with flowing clouds. The plaque was engraved with 3 big words, Sinner Valley. After an unknown amount of time, even though the stone door was mottled with cracks, these 3 words were still clear. It was as if it was not engraved on the stone door, but engraved in the soul of every onlooker. The 2 stone dragons on the pillars looked ferocious, as if they were in great pain. They opened their bloody mouths, as if they wanted to tear out the hearts of all the intruders. Boss. Where is this? William couldn't help but feel a little nervous. His courage just now was all gone. He was scared by this door. This place is a little frightening. However, I can sense an overwhelming righteous energy here. Li Fan patted William's shoulder. No wonder you are afraid. This place is so strange. William wiped his cold sweat. I feel that those 2 monsters. It is as if they will wake up at any time and bite me. And there is a bit of mystery here. Anyway, you just need to follow us closely. Li Fan looked through the stone door and saw some villages in the distance. There are actually people living in this place? It is getting more and more interesting. Li Fan was even a little excited. Could this be the legendary land of immortals? Li Fan could feel a strong sense of righteousness here. It seems that this village relied on this sense of righteousness to suppress the demons on the island. No matter what, let's go in and take a look first. Murong-ing took the lead and walked towards the village. She was worried that the higher Li Fan's expectation, the greater the disappointment. What is this place? Whether the people here are friend or foe, I don't know. Let's hope this mission can be simple. Without hesitation, the two of them brought along the restless William and entered the village hidden in the illusory realm. Chapter 1394. The village was not big, but it exuded an otherworldly aura, as if it was a paradise. Li Fan and Murong Ing walked into the village hand in hand. They saw chickens crowing and dogs barking. The people were simple and serene. Li Fan stopped a boy who was herding cows. The boy was about 6 or 7 years old and chubby. He only wore a small red dudu with a koi embroidered on it. There was also a copper lock around his neck, symbolizing good luck. "Little boy, what is this place?" Li Fan asked. "Are you stupid? Isn't it written at the entrance of the village? This is the Sinner Valley." The little boy rolled his eyes and complained, causing Li Fan's eyebrows to twitch. Murong Ing, who had been observing the village from the side, burst out in laughter when she heard what he said. Li Fan was defeated in front of a child. Was there anything more interesting than this? "Beautiful big sister, you're so beautiful. Why are you with a fool?" The little boy suddenly hugged Murong Ying's thigh and asked in a crisp voice. "What a pity." "Good boy." Murong Ing looked at the clever little boy and could not help but feel love for him. This girl had originally planned to give birth to a child for Li Fan. Unfortunately, Luo Shuowu intercepted her halfway. She must have felt regret in her heart. Xiaobao Xiaobao? Just as Li Fan was racking his brains on how to get information out of this brat's mouth, a village woman next to him came over and shouted the little brat's nickname. "Ma, I'm here." The little wimp shouted loudly. Murong Ing hurriedly put him down and let him go find his mother. "For you." After coaxing the child, the village woman's gaze finally fell on Li Fan and the others. Li Fan pondered for a moment. He really did not know how to explain. Should he tell the truth or make up a story? "You're here to kill the nine-tailed divine fox, right?" The village woman's words shocked Li Fan and Murong Ing at the same time. They looked at each other. "Nine-tailed divine fox?" Li Fan said, "We're indeed here to seal a demon, but we don't know if it's that nine-tailed divine fox." "It must be her." The village woman nodded vigorously and pointed to the side. "Our village's Li lives there. Go and ask him." "Thanks a lot." No matter what, at least there was a clue. Li Fan followed the village woman's guidance and walked towards Li Zheng's house. Not long after they left, the little wimp suddenly said, "Mother, that big brother is very stupid. Can he defeat the nine-tailed divine fox?" "I don't know either. But someone has to go and fight the nine-tailed divine fox. Otherwise, how are we supposed to survive?" "Mother, don't be afraid. I will protect you." This little brat was very mischievous. He hugged his mother and said, "Good boy, I'm not afraid. But mother, is that nine-tailed divine fox really that bad? I've never seen her before. But the villagers say that this nine-tailed divine fox has done all kinds of evil. If she's released, not only our village, but the entire world will be destroyed by her." The village woman looked at Li Fan's house and thought to herself, "I hope we can successfully survive this crisis. These outsiders are our last hope." Why is the buffalo startled? The little wimp looked at the water buffalo that was stomping its hooves anxiously. He couldn't help but feel that it was strange. "More people are coming." The village woman glanced at the village entrance. "And there are quite a few of them. So many people. This time, we can definitely defeat the nine-tailed divine fox." The child clapped his hands happily. The village woman was also happy. There was strength in numbers. It would be good to have more helpers. At this moment, Li Fan and the others had already found Li Zheng. The village's Li Zheng was about 40 years old. He wore a simple navy blue robe and sat in the house drinking alone. Li Zheng seems to be in a good mood. "Don't you find it boring to drink alone?" When Li Fan entered and saw the Li Zheng's appearance, he couldn't help but laugh. "Outsiders?" The Li Zheng looked at Li Fan and the others in surprise. Then his gaze fell on William. "Monsters." The Li Zheng was well built. Although he was already middle-aged, he was quite strong. He grabbed a spear hanging on the wall and threw it. The spear shot towards William like a bolt of lightning. William didn't even have time to react. Fortunately, Li Fan made the first move. He stretched out his hand and flicked the spear. Clang! With a crisp sound, a shockwave exploded in the air. Then, the spear stabbed into the wall. "Are you the companions of the monsters?" The Li Zheng was furious. He roared. His words were like thunder, causing everyone's ears to ring. "You are Li Zheng. Why are you so impulsive?" Li Fan couldn't help but reprimand. "Can you listen to what I have to say first?" "What the hell, Just as the Li Zheng was about to flip the table, a sword was already pointed at his neck. Murong-ing stood at the side. She didn't say a word. She just held the sword, but the Li Zheng obediently shut his mouth and calmed down. "If you want to kill me, come at me. I'm not afraid of you." The Li Zheng was rather unyielding. "Do you have paranoia?" Li Fan couldn't help but smile bitterly. "Do you want me to recommend a better psychiatrist to you?" "Evildoer, what are you trying to do? Do you want to save the nine-tailed divine fox?" "You are wrong. We are here to seal the devil on this island." Li Fan placed his hand on William's body. "As for this one, he is the patriarch of an ancient family in a foreign country. He is not a monster." "Humph, nonsense." The Li Zheng sneered. "He can't even hide his demonic aura. Although I am just a mortal, I won't allow you to bully me like this. You are simply a lunatic." Li Fan was so angry that he almost laughed. "If I want to kill you, it will be as easy as turning my hand over. Why would I lie to you?" Humph, the nine-tailed divine fox is about to wake up. Who knows if you are her accomplices and want to release her? You're sick in the head. Li Fan rolled his eyes. "You said it yourself. She is about to wake up. If we are accomplices, why do we need to release her? I say, with your IQ, how did you become a Li Zheng?" "We decide by force of arms." Li Fan was completely speechless. This was simply outrageous. "I am the former imperial sword of China. Today, I came here to kill the nine-tailed divine fox." Li Fan stared at him and measured his identity. "Imperial sword? What about the sword? Don't you understand the word, former? I can say that I am the former Jade Emperor." Li Fan was speechless. This person is so stubborn. What should we do? Li Fan could only ask Murong-ing for help. "Ignore him. Let's go find the nine-tailed divine fox. With our swordsmanship, we can kill her." Murong-ing was getting impatient. Chapter 1395. Are you really here to kill the nine-tailed divine fox? Li Zheng seemed to finally understand and asked after hesitating for a moment. "Aren't you spouting nonsense? Even if he is a monster, we are both humans, right? Humans helping the nine-tailed divine fox destroy the world? Are you crazy? You need to recharge your IQ." Li Fan could not help but speak fiercely. "I might have misunderstood you." Li Zheng finally gave in. Li Fan and Murong-ing both heaved a sigh of relief. If Li Zheng continued to be entangled here, it would be really troublesome. "Can we have a good chat now?" Li Fan then let Murong-ing keep her autumn water sword. The two of them pulled William and sat in front of Li Zheng. Li Zheng looked at them and smiled bitterly. He pointed at William and said, "Gentlemen, although I am a bit abrupt, this person's demonic aura is too strong. Not to mention me, when we reach the demon ceiling hill, those dragon warriors will not give you any face." Demon ceiling hill? Dragon warriors? Li Fan listened attentively. "Yes, the nine-tailed divine fox is sealed in the demon ceiling hill. And the dragon elders are true descendants of the dragon race. They have the blood of both humans and dragons in their bodies. They have been guarding the Sinner Valley and the nine-tailed divine fox for generations." Dragon people? Li Fan could not help but be surprised. There was actually a mixed blood of the dragon race and humans here. "Yes, these descendants are called dragon warriors." "That's not right." Li Fan thought of the secrets of the dragon race. Even if a dragon woman is pregnant with a human child, the child should be a pure-blood dragon. How can there be mixed-blood dragon people? I didn't expect you to know so much about the dragon race. Li Zheng looked at Li Fan in surprise. Li Fan muttered in his heart. This is bullshit. I was a dragon knight before. You will be scared to death if I tell you. Although it's extremely difficult for a dragon male to reproduce with a human female, there's actually still a certain probability. Li Zheng explained, the ones who survived are naturally the dragon warriors. However, whether it was the dragon clan or the human side, they were not well received. Thus, they were sent to this valley to guard the demon's sealing hill for generations, never to leave. Isn't this too heartless? Li Fan frowned. This group of dragons, he had recklessly given birth to children, but in the end, they were punished instead. What was the difference between staying here for generations and staying in prison? Why are these dragon warriors still following the rules? Can't they just find an opportunity to leave? Muronging asked. This Sinner Valley has a magical barrier that was created by the dragon clan in the past. Rijing pointed outside the window. The scenery in the distance was slightly swaying. This barrier not only protects our village in Sinner Valley, but it also serves as a cage for the dragon warriors. As long as the dragon warriors leave this barrier, they will die quickly. Fuck, so deceptive? Hearing this, Li Fan was stunned. These dragons are too cruel to their own children. Even a vicious tiger would not eat its cubs, but when a dragon does, it's a bit unreasonable. That's why the temper of the dragon warriors is a bit weird. Rijing shrugged his shoulders. You guys have to be careful when dealing with them. When entering the demon sealing hill, it's best not to bring this demon friend. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences. Then I'll just wait in the village. William heaved a sigh of relief. He could not wait to go to the demon sealing hill. In this Sinner Valley, that terrifying aura became even denser, pressuring William's heart. It was as if a death god was staring at him at all times. William's hair stood on end. If not for accompanying Li Fan, he would have escaped long ago. All right, when the time comes, you can stay here with Rijing. Li Fan guaranteed to Rijing, don't worry, although my friend's aura is not good, he's a coward and harmless. William smiled bitterly. To say that the Parker clan's leader is harmless, only Boss would say such words. Boss, although I'm not here, I still want to help Boss. William said as he stretched out his hand. A blood-red flame ignited in his palm. This flame squirmed and finally turned into a small blood-red bat that flew in front of Li Fan. William's face became even paler, like a corpse. He pointed at the blood bat and said weakly, Boss, this is my blood magic? After you have this magic, you can use my blood magic? Won't you be very weak like this? It's fine. After Boss finishes this battle, you can return it to me. William said his reason, if Boss loses, the entire world will be finished. Even if I keep my blood magic, I won't be able to survive. But I know my strength is low and can't help Boss, so I'll just give you a little bit of strength. I'll accept your kindness. Li Fan nodded. He stretched out his hand and held the blood bat in his hand. An evil force condensed in Li Fan's palm, which can be used by him temporarily. Although Li Fan can't use this blood energy for the time being, it's better than nothing. To deal with the nine-tailed divine fox, it's always good to have one more trump card. Such a strong demonic aura. The village chief could not help but click his tongue, surprised by this blood energy. He's on our side. Li Fan pointed at William, village chief. He contributed his strength to seal the nine-tailed divine fox. If he recuperates here, you won't ignore him, right? How could I? Since this friend is not our Sinner Valley's enemy, then he will stay here. As the village chief, I will naturally protect him. However, in order to avoid conflict with the dragon warriors, can you stay in my house for the time being? Most people won't come here, so it's very safe. Okay. William naturally agreed. At this time, there was a clamor outside. Village chief, there are a lot of people outside looking for you. A shout came from outside. The village chief, who just said that no one came, immediately blushed. It's probably them. Li Fan smiled at the village chief. They are all people who came to seal the fox, but they are not easy to talk to. Since they came to seal the nine-tailed divine fox, then they are our Sinner Valley's friends. The village chief put on his shoes. It seems that there are a lot of people, let's go out and meet them. Li Fan could only go out first. There was a group of people outside, led by Abel and wife Elizabeth. Seeing that Li Fan came out unscathed, Abel's expression was strange, and wife Elizabeth's face was unhappy. It seems that Li Fan being alive made her very unhappy. Everyone, I am the village chief of this Sinner Valley. May I ask if you are here to suppress the nine-tailed divine fox? Chapter 1396. Village chief Li counted in his heart. There were 60 to 70 people. So many people came to crusade against the nine-tailed divine fox. It was really great. Oriental people? Abel looked at this small hidden village in the east. He was a little unhappy. Why is there a group of Oriental people everywhere? Aren't they just causing trouble? These Oriental people, are they a virus? Although they were speaking Chinese, Abel's Chinese was really good. He could understand every word. Who are you? Abel didn't want to be the bad guy, but wife Elizabeth asked with a cold face. Why in this place? Are you the accomplices of the devil? How could that be? You misunderstood. Village chief Li remembered Li Fan's grievances and hurriedly explained. We have been living here for generations to monitor this devil, in case she comes out and causes chaos in the world. What evidence do you have? Elizabeth didn't believe it and continued to ask. Village chief Li was about to continue to explain, but Li Fan took a step forward and asked with a smile. Everyone, what's wrong? Are you not satisfied with the bombardment outside? Are you planning to massacre this paradise-like little village as well? Li Fan said and flashed his sword. These are my Chinese people. Abel, Elizabeth, if you dare to make a move on them, it means you are declaring war on my country. I ask you, do you have the courage? Li Fan's previous gentle appearance changed. Instead, his murderous aura made Abel and Elizabeth subconsciously take a step back. This man, at this moment he is so fierce. Elizabeth, a woman who doesn't give in, didn't dare to provoke Li Fan at this moment. Li Fan, we are all allies. When did we start a war? Abel was scared. He remembered Li Fan's demon-like strength. He decided not to have a conflict with him now. Elizabeth is just asking. Don't think too much. That's good. Only then did Li Fan put away his sword and stood aside as if nothing had happened. Village chief, tell them the rules, Wang Yao said. Rules? A representative of an island country couldn't help but say. What? Do we need rules to save the world? Well, there are still some rules. Li Zheng sneered. The nine-tailed divine fox is an extremely terrifying existence. If you want to go to the demon sealing hill, you'll need a certain level of strength. Otherwise, those who are weak will be bewitched by the miasma there and become the nine-tailed divine fox's lackeys. Everyone here is an elite. An Indian yoga warrior walked out and shouted, "How dare you, a Chinese, look down on us?" Just as he finished speaking, Li Zheng suddenly took a step forward and placed his palm on his lower abdomen. With a bang, the yoga warrior's body spun and flew more than 10 meters away. He fell to the ground and fainted. The members of God's Dusk were all shocked. They never thought that an ordinary-looking villager would have such powerful skills. We, the villagers of Sinner Valley, all know how to make money. Li Zheng gave a simple and honest smile. If you can't even defeat us, then don't go to the demon sealing hill, lest you add another dead soul. Li Zheng's words were there. Because he had just shown his hand, his words now had a strong deterrent force. Tell me, how do we test it? Do I have to fight you? Abel was slightly dissatisfied. They were here to save the world, so why did they have to make it so troublesome? No, I only know how to make money. It doesn't count as combat power. Li Zheng quickly waved his hand. Everyone look over there. The demon sealing hill is in that direction. In order to suppress the nine-tailed divine fox, our ancestors left behind the heavenly dragon temple. Everyone follow me. I will take you to see the abbot of the heavenly dragon temple. He has a profound dharma, so he naturally has a way to test everyone's strength. Then quickly lead the way. Elizabeth was a little impatient. We are obviously here to save the world, but in the end, it's like a test. Are you kidding me? She represented the majority of the people's thoughts. This matter was troublesome. I'm really sorry. The rules are like this. I've caused trouble for everyone. Li Zheng extended his hand. Everyone, please follow me. Li Zheng led the group of people out of the village and arrived in front of an ancient temple. Li Fan stood in front of the temple and looked at the ancient temple that had been built for God knows how many years. Although the temple was old, it did not lose its solemnity. Through the 3-meter-high wall, Li Fan saw 8 stupas standing tall in the temple. They stood in 8 different directions as if guarding something. It's quite old. Murong-ing also looked at the temple, looking at the architectural style. It should be more than 1,000 years old. That is a cultural relic. It should be protected. After 1,000 years, your 7 Knights Villa should also be an ancient relic. Then let's talk about it after 1,000 years. I don't think about things that far in the future. Li Fan laughed. First, let's solve the problem in front of us, then we can fly together. That's flying together. Who wants to fly together with you? Looking at Murong Ying's shy face, Li Fan couldn't help but want to laugh out loud. But considering that the occasion was not suitable, he held it back. Well, after all, this is a pure Buddhist land. He can't just study women's matters. Everyone, please wait a moment. Li Jing naturally did not know about Li Fan and Murong Ying's little scheme. He hurriedly walked to the temple door, pulled the door knocker, and knocked 3 times. After a while, the temple door creaked open. A bald little monk in gray robe poked his head out and glanced at Li Zheng. Benefactor, today the abbot will give a sermon and will not accept incense. Everyone, please go back. Little master, this doesn't seem right. Murong-ing had some understanding of Buddhism. When she heard this, she could not help but laugh. The so-called all living beings are equal. Buddha enlightens the world. Since it's a good thing like giving a sermon, why doesn't the abbot let others listen? Could it be that in the abbot's eyes, this Buddhism can only be cultivated by you Tianlong temple monks and others cannot? Amit Ba. This female benefactor? I'm just a little acolyte. Whatever the abbot says, I'll do it. The little monk's face turned red. Li Fan muttered in his heart, none of my women are easy to deal with. Huiyuan, go and tell the abbot that the challenger is here. Okay, then everyone, please wait a moment. The little monk closed the temple door and went in to report. But most of the people present were impatient. How could it be so troublesome to come and save the world? Li Zheng seemed to be afraid that these people would be tired of waiting, so he kept chatting with them to raise their interest. After about 10 minutes, the door of the temple was opened again. This time, 2 martial monks wearing golden monk robes stood on both sides. An old monk wearing a red cassock came out to greet them and gave them a Buddhist salute. Amit Ba, everyone, please follow this poor monk. Chapter 1397. The Sky Dragon Temple's welcoming monk personally came out and led everyone into the temple. The temple was paved with white bluestone bricks. There were even Buddhist lotuses imprinted on them, giving the temple a holy atmosphere. The temple was not small, but there weren't many monks. After entering, the 8 stupas became clearer. It was as if there were 8 Buddha statues guarding this place. Everyone looked around and observed the heavenly dragon temple. Abel even lowered his voice and chatted with Elizabeth. This place should be thousands of years old. Such a long history should be left to the empire. Yes, only the empire has the right to preserve such a precious history. Abel said proudly, leaving it to the Huaxia will only ruin it. But, how are we going to protect this place? Isn't our aircraft carrier here? I'll talk to the commander later. Let's have the aircraft carrier practice near Pole Island all year round. Everyone arrived in front of the Grand Hall. Many monks were already standing there, forming a circle. An old monk wearing a golden red robe and holding a Buddhist staff was standing there, motionless like a statue. As if he sensed everyone approaching, he slowly opened his eyes. His small eyes were emitting endless light. Li Fan couldn't help but feel his heart racing. How could a skinny old monk possess such a terrifying gaze? This person looked thin and weak. He was old and weak, as if he could be blown away by the wind. However, his temples were bulging. It seemed like this old monk was also a master of internal martial arts. Po, the old monk chanted. His voice was not loud, but it resounded throughout the Sky Dragon Temple. It was deafening and lingered for a long time. Everyone's expression changed. They didn't take this old monk seriously at first, but they didn't expect him to have such power. Who would have thought? A temple in a paradise could be a place with crouching tigers and hidden dragons. Abel couldn't help but look at the monks holding the long staffs around him, trying to guess their true strength. They said they were here to save the world, but they didn't see any demons. Instead, they saw a group of powerful monks. What was going on? Benefactors, you've come all the way here to seal the nine-tailed divine fox. I'm truly grateful. The old monk placed one hand in front of him and performed a Buddhist greeting. His wrinkled face was filled with gratitude. Everyone, this is Zen Master Tian, the abbot of the Heavenly Dragon Temple. The great Taoist master has profound Dharma and is the current living Buddha. Li Jing introduced to everyone. Amitabha, you're flattering me. The Dharma of Buddhism is boundless, and this old monk has only understood a little. The path of learning Buddhism is still very long. You're right. Murong-ing snorted. You old monk, preaching Dharma behind closed doors, it's really embarrassing. You should learn more about this Dharma of yours. How can you speak to the abbot like that? The president of the commandment yard next to him glared at him and scolded fiercely. Buddha helps the predestined. Do you think everyone can hear the Dharma of the abbot? That's right, Buddha will help those who are fated. Murong-ing continued, but we're here today because we are fated with Buddha and Tianlong Temple. Not only us, but everyone who comes to Tianlong Temple is fated with Dharma. You don't help those who are fated and preach Buddha behind closed doors. Is this reasonable? As the leader of the Wulin world, Murong-ing, in addition to her strong martial arts, has also done a lot of research on Dharma. She and the Shaolin Temple's inner temple abbot are good friends, and occasionally like to talk about Dharma. At this time, seeing these selfish monks who talk about Dharma, she naturally became angry. Usually, Murong-ing is a man of few words, but once she gets serious, she is unforgiving. Li Fan has suffered a lot in this aspect, so this time he simply pretended to be mute and only listened to Murong-ing argue with the monks. You little girl, how dare you be presumptuous in my Tianlong Temple? The commandment yard's president is hot-tempered. He blows his beard and glares, and is about to teach Murong-ing a lesson. Wait. Zen Master Tianyin frowns and scolds in a low voice. Junior brother Tian K, what do you want to do? Abbot, I'm going to teach this girl a lesson and let her talk nonsense in our pure land of Buddhism. Tian K exerts his internal force, and the monk robe on his body bulges round, which makes everyone shudder with fear. Good heavens, another expert. Amitabha, you're also obsessed. Zen Master Tianyin can't help but enlighten his hot-tempered junior brother. This female benefactor is right. It's my fault to close the door and preach. This old monk is not good at Dharma. Please advise me, female benefactor. It's good to know one's mistake and correct it. Seeing Zen Master Tianyin bow his head, Murong-ing is a little satisfied. She must decide the winner of the matter she has decided. It seems that this female benefactor has some knowledge of Dharma. Why don't you stay in my Sky Dragon Temple for 2 more days and drink tea and talk about Dharma with this old monk? Li Fan raises his eyebrows. This old monk wants to snatch her? The time on the island belongs to Murong-ing. Sorry, I'm here to seal that devil. Let's talk about Dharma after it's over. Murong-ing cups her hands and apologizes. Yeah, you two should be done with your chat, right? Elizabeth is a little dissatisfied. Do we have to accompany you two to chat? That's true. The monk nods. Since that's the case, this old monk will talk about the rules this time. Big monk, what rules? We're here to help. Elizabeth is very dissatisfied. Why do we have to follow your rules to help? What kind of logic is this? Female benefactor, you're quite troublesome. Tian K scolds, it's for your own good. Just listen, why are you talking so much? If you want to ask again, ask the monk rod in this poor monk's hand first. Junior brother, you can't. Zen Master Tian presses his junior brother's rod. It's normal for several benefactors to have doubts. How can you use violence against them? It's fine if they're polite, but each and every one of them is so arrogant. They don't even put our Tianlong temple in their eyes. Tian K says in a bad mood, Abbot, if we don't teach them a lesson, they won't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Nonsense, why aren't you stepping back? Zen Master Tian orders his fiery junior brother to step back, then politely says to Li Fan and the others, several people, this old monk knows that you have good intentions. Slaying the devil and defending the Tao, this old monk is very grateful. But that demon sealing hill is extremely dangerous, demons run rampant, and it's also protected by miasma. If ordinary people go there, they'll just throw away their lives in vain. It's really not worth it. We're here to save people, so why add more dead souls? That's right, the abbot is doing this for your own good. Don't overestimate yourself. Tian K is a straightforward person, his words are also very direct. Previously, village head also told us. Great Zen Master, why don't you tell us, how do you want to test us? Abel finally speaks. Chapter 1398. Benefactors, please follow this old monk. Zen Master Tianyin led these people to a meditation room. The meditation room was very spacious. There was only a bronze Buddha mechanism placed in the center, looking solemn. This is the Knowing Destiny Buddha, specially used to test the challenger's strength. Zen Master Tianyin pointed at the bronze Buddha, you can ask it for advice. Are you kidding? Elizabeth curled her lips. This is just scrap metal. It doesn't even have AI, how can we ask it for advice? Big monk, are you deliberately making fun of us? Amitba, benefactor, you may not know, this is not scrap metal, but a mechanical beast created by an enlightened monk. Zen Master Tianyin said with a smile, the mechanical beast is a strange art of Huaxia, and the founder was Master Lu Ban. If you don't believe me, you can ask Benefactor Li for confirmation. Everyone's eyes fell on Li Fan. Li Fan was slightly embarrassed, he could only let the old monk down this time. Master Tianyin, I have heard of this mechanical art. But you have been away from the mainland for too long, you may not know, because of various reasons, this strange art has been lost in Huaxia. What? The monks in the Sky Dragon Temple were shocked, and Zen Master Tian even chanted the name of Buddha, then said regretfully, what a pity for Huaxia, and a pity for our culture. Li Fan was also quite regretful. Master, do you know this mechanical art? Why don't you pass it to me, let me bring it back to Huaxia. Elizabeth heard this and could not help but roll her eyes. This Li Fan really took advantage of the situation. What was there to learn about this stupid mechanical art? Technology was so advanced in modern society, making some machines was as easy as flipping one's hand, why would they need this scrap metal? What a joke! I have the same intention, but unfortunately, the senior master only left behind this mechanical beast, but did not leave the method of making it. Lost, it seems to be completely lost. Amitba, I have sinned. The old monk looked regretful. Master Tian, let's talk about the challenge? Abel took a step forward and raised his voice to attract the attention of the two. The people here are all elites. We don't have time to play games with you. As the leader of Gods of Dusk, I naturally have to take responsibility for them. That's right. Everyone nodded. Big monk, hurry up and take the test. We can't wait any longer. Everyone, please don't be impatient. We will begin now. Zen Master Tianyin's voice became a little heavier. However, we have to say something first. If he couldn't pass the test, he wouldn't be qualified to enter the Demon Sealing Hill. Benefactors, please bear witness. If you don't have a fated chance, don't force it. Okay, we promise you. Let's get started. Abel was also a little impatient. This monk was really long-winded. Gentlemen, Knowing Destiny Buddha is here. As long as you can pass through the door behind him and reach the other room, you will pass the test. Ha, that's easy. Leave it to me. A British knight of the Round Table immediately laughed. He lifted the iron box, and the alloy iron box immediately began to change shape. After a while, a steel warhorse appeared under his crotch. How can this scrap of copper and iron compare to the alloy warhorses of the British Empire? The Knight of the Round Table rode on the warhorse and held a big sword in his hand. He said loudly, "God bless me, I am invincible." With that, he rode on the warhorse and suddenly accelerated. With a gust of wind, he rushed towards the copper Buddha in the blink of an eye. However, it turned out that he had indeed underestimated the copper Buddha. The warhorse was extremely fast, and the Knight of the Round Table was also full of confidence. He accelerated and rushed over. However, at this moment, the originally sluggish copper Buddha suddenly moved. It just waved its right arm, raised its wooden arm, and then slapped the galloping warhorse. In the eyes of everyone, this was no different from a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Half of the copper Buddha's body was probably going to be smashed. However, a shocking scene appeared. Not only did the copper Buddha's arm not break, but the warhorse was directly slapped away. The Knight of the Round Table flew off the horse and was grabbed by the copper Buddha's other hand. He was lifted into the air. No matter how hard the Knight of the Round Table struggled, he could not escape from the copper Buddha's palm. The copper Buddha suddenly spat out a golden light that hit the Knight of the Round Table. In an instant, the Knight of the Round Table was knocked away. He fell into the distance and fainted. Everyone was dumbfounded. Monk Tianyin said slowly, "I forgot to tell you, this copper Buddha is usually at the knowing destiny state, but in battle, it is called the Wisdom King." As he spoke, the copper Buddha's head suddenly turned. It was originally a solemn Buddha statue, but behind its head was a ferocious face. At the same time, the copper Buddha slowly turned black and grew 2 pairs of arms. "Six-armed Wisdom King." Li Fan muttered in his heart. Master Tunin was really two-faced. It seemed that he also intended to give these gods of dusk a show of strength. However, this master's original intention was to dissuade them. After all, even if they went to the demon Ceiling Hill, they would only be a few more helpers for the 9-tailed divine fox. However, Li Fan was still puzzled by another thing. Since it was a demon that destroyed the world, why did the people in the Sinner Valley call it the divine fox instead of the demon fox or the demon fox? Li Fan did not find a chance to ask. He would wait until he had the chance. Li Fan was not in a hurry to make a move. He stood at the side and wanted to observe the Bright Lord's strength. These barbarians had underestimated the Huaxia's mechanical skills. It was good to teach them a lesson. The demon Ceiling Hill was not a good place. It was better not to go than to send a group of clowns there. Is this really a toy made of wood and copper? Elizabeth was also very shocked. Since coming to the Demon Island, she had not had a good time. These Huaxia people were really bad. She really wondered if they were in cahoots with the sealed demon. "Humph, I'll burn you." Elizabeth became more and more annoyed. She raised her hand and threw a ball of red flame at the Bright Lord. No matter how strong it was still a piece of wood. How could it withstand her flame? Under Elizabeth's control, the flame condensed into a ball and flew towards the Bright Lord like a cannonball. However, the Bright Lord's 6 palms suddenly clapped together, setting off a strong airflow that instantly extinguished the flame. What? Elizabeth could not believe her eyes. How could this bronze Buddha be so intelligent? "My apologies, madam," Master Tianyin explained. Buddhist monk Tianyin explained, as early as when plotting against knowing destiny Buddha, the eminent monk had already thought that someone would attack with fire, so he had set up countermeasures. Damn it, what the hell is this thing? A bronze Buddha had stumped the people of gods of dusk. Chapter 1399. Master, is there a limit to how many people can go through together? Abel was quick-witted. He quickly thought of a countermeasure and asked. "There isn't." Master Tianyin smiled. "No matter how many people there are, Just come. Good. Abel was overjoyed. He waved his hand. Everyone, let's go and smash this thing. Everyone could see that this thing was not easy to deal with. They did not dare to hesitate. There was strength in numbers. With so many of them, someone would definitely be able to break through. The motley crew roared and rushed towards the bronze Buddha. The elites of God's Dusk were originally made up of people from various countries. Now, there were 8 immortals crossing the sea, each showing their own abilities. All of them wanted to rush through this so-called wisdom lord and make their country proud. If they couldn't even break through a trap, how could they call themselves elites? Kill that bronze Buddha. Everyone must pass through the bronze Buddha. These people shouted crazily. Their eyes were burning with anger, as if they wanted to eat someone alive. Amitabha, I have sinned. Master Tianning kept chanting Buddha's scriptures. No one knew what he was repenting for. As for the 6-armed wisdom lord, it lived up to its name. At this moment, it was displaying its strength to the fullest. So many elites from so many countries besieged it, but it still had the upper hand, completely defeating these elites. So many people, but not a single one could pass through the blockade of the wisdom lord. It's actually so strong. Abel looked at the mechanical beast, feeling a little puzzled. It was clearly a toy-like thing. How could it display such terrifying combat power? The things of the Chinese were too strange. Commander, what should we do? Elizabeth stood at the side, feeling a little helpless. Before they could save the world, they had already been dissuaded by a monk's temple. How could they, the God's Dusk, have any face left? The people from other countries are all trash. Abel sighed, lowered his voice, and said to Elizabeth, I wanted to use them as cannon fodder, but I didn't expect them to be so weak. Now that things have come to this, we have to work together to break through this bronze Buddha. Elizabeth glanced at the chaotic crowd, but it's a mess here. Isn't it a little inconvenient? The Huaxia people have a saying, it's easy to fish in troubled waters. Abel chuckled, we can use this opportunity to let these people attract the firepower for us. Anyway, the bronze Buddha won't really hurt them. You and I will take this opportunity to break through and establish the prestige of our empire. Alright, God help us. Elizabeth had already witnessed the power of the bronze Buddha. She did not dare to underestimate this mechanical beast, so she adjusted the nanonuclei in her body. As the new generation of divine warriors created by the United States, Elizabeth also had 9 nanonuclei in her body, and the effects were 20% higher than Adam and Eve's. In addition, in order to maximize their combat power, the Empire specially equipped them with the most elite nanoweapons for combat. Vulcan gloves. Elizabeth's nanonucleus began to operate, and countless nanomachines suddenly flew out of a box at her waist and quickly gathered on her hands. Very quickly, a pair of huge scarlet boxing gloves wrapped around her hands, like the fists of a fire giant, looking very majestic and somewhat terrifying. Let me help you, Elizabeth shouted. Her appearance shook the spirits of the people from God's Dusk. Elizabeth has made a move. We have hope. Let's fight the enemy together. Everyone roared as if Elizabeth was their savior. And Elizabeth's move was indeed extraordinary. She instantly jumped in front of the bronze Buddha with 2 balls of scarlet flames, and then smashed her fists at the bronze Buddha's head. Clang! The bronze Buddha stretched out its hand to block, but the attack was so powerful that the bronze Buddha was forced to take a step back. Did you see that? This is the strength of an imperial warrior. Elizabeth was overjoyed. With the enhancement of the nanoweapons, the bronze Buddha was nothing. Maybe she could defeat this bronze Buddha. Vulcan's wrath. Elizabeth's fists were burning with flames, and she clenched her fists together and punched at the bronze Buddha's hammer. Li Fan secretly shook his head when he saw this scene. This move was too barbaric. It was like adding strength to the fist and then punching out. There was no proper use of strength at all. It was like using a cannon to hit a mosquito. Westerners might be more powerful in other techniques, but in terms of moves and techniques, they could not be compared to the Chinese. Bang! Smash! Sure enough, the bronze Buddha suddenly raised its arm and blocked Elizabeth's attack. At the same time, Its other two palms quickly hit Elizabeth's chest and immediately sent her flying. The strength of this attack was not light. He didn't know how this mechanical beast did it, but each of its moves contained inner force. Benefactors, since you can't defeat it, let's go back. Zen Master Tian-in murmured. I don't believe it. Abel roared and jumped out. He grabbed a bolt of lightning in his hand and threw it at the copper Buddha. Beezy! The blue lightning tore through the sky and instantly struck the mechanical beast. The bronze Buddha's body trembled slightly. Then, it raised its palm, and a gust of wind blew on Abel's body. Abel immediately slid out. It took him a long time to stabilize his feet. At the same time, his eyes were filled with shock. He didn't understand why he and Elizabeth couldn't even defeat a mechanical beast. Only Li Fan and Murong-ing understood that the mechanical beast had the strength of a half-sage at most. Although it was powerful, it was nothing. Abel and Elizabeth's strength was close to that of a half-sage. They might be considered strong in China, but they didn't know any moves. Their fighting style was crude, and it was a waste of their strength. How could they be a match for the bronze Buddha? Abel and Elizabeth fought the bronze Buddha together. Although the bronze Buddha's strength was not as strong as the two of them, it relied on its exquisite moves to prevent the two from successfully passing. If this continued, everyone would be defeated here. Abel was unwilling to give up. He turned his head and saw Li Fan watching from the side. Li Fan, you and I are allies. Aren't you going to help? Master Tian-in said that this is for your own good. Li Fan shrugged his shoulders. Listen to the master's advice. Go back obediently. This is not a place you should be. Bastard, I think you're afraid. Cunning Huaxia people. Abel cursed angrily. You're treating my good intentions as ill intent. Li Fan shrugged. Since you don't want to listen, then forget it. Wait. Abel had no other choice. He directly said, what do you want before you're willing to help? Chapter 1400. I want a commission of 500 million. Li Fan stretched out 5 fingers and demanded an exorbitant price. Li Fan needed a large amount of money to return to the Li family island and build a small island. If he invested 500 million, it would be enough for a year's construction. After a year, Li Fan believed that everything on the Li family island would be on the right track. He would no longer have to worry about earning money. At that time, the small island would be open to tourism. It would be visa-free for all countries. There would definitely be an endless stream of tourists who would contribute to the island's construction. In addition, Li Fan relied on smuggling. He was originally a bodyguard, but it slowly developed into smuggling. In the future, Li Fan wanted to develop it into a formal sea trade. This way, he could earn more peace of mind. Li Fan dared to ask for an exorbitant price because he knew that Abel would agree. More accurately, the person behind him would agree. The empire did not lack money, but they lacked powerful biological genes. Therefore, Abel and the others were determined to get the 9-tailed divine fox gene. If they could not get it, it would not only be a loss of $500 million. You are dreaming. Abel had the urge to vomit blood. This man was too greedy. He actually asked for 500 million? Was he so poor that he had gone crazy? It's fine if you don't agree. I won't force you. Li Fan laughed. I'm a businessman. You can take your time to think about it. Even if the business doesn't work out, I'll still be kind. As he said that, he sat on the chair beside him and watched the battle between them and the copper Buddha as if he was watching a show. Li Fan, think about it. Without our help, just the two of you will not be able to defeat this strange copper Buddha. Abel continued to threaten and lure. Only by cooperating with us can you pass its test. Is that so? Li Fan chuckled. I don't think so. I'm a person who likes to try. Nonsense. Nonsense? What nonsense? Abel was about to collapse. How could he make the decision for this price? However, at this time, his superior officer gave an order. Agree to it. Abel was dumbfounded. He could even agree to this? $500 million, not $500 million. The higher-ups were too generous. Was this kid worth so much money? Master Tian, how's the vegetarian food in your monastery? Not bad. Our temple's master is very skilled. If you don't mind, you can stay here and eat vegetarian food. Master Tonin put his palms together in front of Li Fan and praised his food. That's great. Thank you for your hospitality. Not at all. Benefactor, you are also a fated person. You don't have to be so polite. The two of them were talking and laughing, not taking Abel seriously at all. Abel was very angry in his heart. Did you come here just for a meal? This damned Li Fan, if I find a chance, I must kill him. Who asked him to be so arrogant? Li Fan, 500 million it is. We agree. Elizabeth looked at Abel in shock. How could this Li Fan be worth so much money? Transfer the money. Li Fan said an account number. In less than 3 minutes, Li Fan's satellite phone rang. Bai Lin Luo informed Li Fan that the money had been transferred. We have another condition. This money must not only be used to help us pass the bronze Buddha, but also to help us deal with the nine-tailed divine fox. Of course. Li Fan laughed. As long as there was money, it would be easy. The money has already been paid. Are you still not going to help? Elizabeth asked. Don't rush me. I'm coming. Li Fan waved his hand. Everyone else can leave. Don't disturb my work. Are you crazy? If we don't help you, how are you going to defeat the bronze Buddha alone? Elizabeth looked at Li Fan as if he was crazy. I have my ways. You can all leave. Li Fan waved his hand and let the motley crowd leave. If that's the case, everyone else can leave. Our Chinese friend is going to perform, Abel said sarcastically. Then he led his people to the side. The bronze Buddha was there to stop the crowd from entering. Now that everyone had left, it quieted down. Do you need my help? Murong Ing held the autumn water sword and asked. No need. Watch your husband take care of this bronze Buddha. As Li Fan spoke, he held his spring wave sword and slowly walked towards the bronze Buddha. When Li Fan was within a meter of the bronze Buddha suddenly moved. 6 huge palms slapped towards Li Fan. However, Li Fan did not even open his eyes. Just like that, with his eyes closed, he casually walked through the gaps of the bronze Buddha's attack. The bronze Buddha struck out with its palms, but it only hit Li Fan's afterimage. Amitba, Zen Master Tian Yin couldn't help but feel shocked by Li Fan's martial arts realm. Only relying on inner force to sense the opponent's attack was not something an ordinary martial arts master could do. Even he couldn't do it, right? Abel and Elizabeth both had strange expressions. They thought that Li Fan would be easily repelled. They didn't expect him to be so relaxed. The opponent couldn't even hit him. If that was the case, it was indeed easy for him to pass through the bronze Buddha. Hey, don't just hide. Don't forget that you're helping us pass through. Sure. Li Fan suddenly unsheathed his spring wave sword. A few white lights flashed in the air. In an instant, Li Fan stabbed out 6 times. Pava. After 6 crisp sounds, the bronze Buddha's 6 arms were all broken. Dragon ascends to the 9 heavens. Li Fan stabbed out with his sword one last time, bringing with it an intense sword energy that directly shattered the head of the copper Buddha. The bronze Buddha fell to the ground with a thud. It had already lost its ability to move. It had really become a pile of scrap metal. After he finished his move, he retreated and sat back on the chair. He also placed the spring wave sword on the table as if he had never attacked. Abel and Elizabeth were dumbfounded. He actually did what he said. He even destroyed the bronze Buddha. Oh my God, I must have seen wrongly. That Huaxia person is actually so powerful? Everyone exclaimed. They were all shocked by Li Fan's methods. What method did you use? I didn't see it clearly. Let's try. Master Tian Ke seemed a little unconvinced. He picked up his long rod and walked towards Li Fan. But before he could take a step, a cold long sword was already pointed at his throat. Murong Ing stood at the side, holding the autumn water sword. Her eyes were cold. You have already lost. Li Fan said embarrassedly, Master Tian Yin, you can't be thinking of reneging on the debt, right? Young almsgiver skills are unfathomable. This old monk naturally admires you. Master Tian put his palms together and murmured, and this female almsgiver beside you. If the two of you join forces, I'm afraid no one in my temple can defeat you. Murong was a little happy. She was the kind of person who couldn't take compliments. If you want to pass, this old monk has no objections. Chapter 1401. It's just that, these people can't go. Zen Master Tianyin pointed at the other people of the God's Dusk. But, old monk, you said that there's no limit to the number of people who can pass. Are you regretting it now? Abel looked at Zen Master Tianyin in annoyance. Wasn't this monk a little too annoying? Even if he regretted it, it was too late. He had to bring these cannon fodder to the nine-tailed divine fox. Without these people, Abel didn't even think it would be easy to restrict Li Fan. He had already spent all 500 million. If Li Fan regretted it, it would be terrible. Amitba, you are not strong enough. Even if you go, you will die for sure. We Buddhists are here to save all living beings. Although it's important to vanquish demons, we can't let you die for nothing. So long-winded. Anyway, rules are rules. You are a monk. Didn't they say that monks can't lie? Buddha said that if I don't go to hell, who will? Zen Master Tianyin and his two juniors, Tian Ke and Tian Wang, blocked the main gate of the demon ceiling hill. The 18 monks also took out their long rods and aimed at them. Funny. You want to stop us? Just you monks? Abel laughed. He didn't care about these monks at all. Now that the traps were gone, what else could they do? Let's go. Let these ignorant monks know how powerful we are. Abel looked at these monks as if they were facing a great enemy, and guessed that they were afraid of him. He and Elizabeth took the lead and led the others to rush through. At this moment, the motley crowd became excited again. They all roared and rushed towards Zen Master Tianyin and the others. But at this moment, Zen Master Tianyin's originally gentle eyes suddenly exploded with two beams of light. From Li Fan's point of view, it was like seeing the two high beams of the other party's headlights at night, which made people feel uneasy. The old monk suddenly let out a lion's roar. A powerful inner force exploded and directly hit these people. Other than Abel and Elizabeth, everyone was instantly blown away and fell everywhere. Abel looked at his companions who were blown away, and his heart shook. Not only the cannon fodder, but even he himself was blown a few meters away. If he hadn't stuck his spear into the ground, he would have been sent flying. Elizabeth was also grabbing the ground with her glove. Her fingers had already pierced into the floor. The two of them looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. Unbelievable. Is this even possible? The old monk was actually so ferocious. What should he do? Amitba. Zen Master Tianyin stood there and said, "Everyone, please wait a moment. Li Fan, you've been paid." Abel had no choice but to turn to Li Fan for help again. He was also somewhat annoyed that he couldn't even beat a monk. Li Fan could clearly see that this old monk was also a half-sage. His two senior and junior brothers should be about the same level. As for the 18 martial monks around him, their strength should be at the level of a grandmaster. However, when they joined forces, they seemed to form a strange formation that could strengthen each other's skills. These people added together seemed to be to deal with him and Murong. As for Abel and the others, although they were strong, their fighting strength was not good. All right, I've been paid to eliminate disasters for others. Li Fan once again picked up his spring wave sword. Zen Master Tianyin looked at Li Fan with a serious expression. "Benefactor, if you act rashly, this sin will fall on you." "But I'm only doing things for money." Li Fan blinked his eyes and pretended not to understand. Benefactor's wisdom is like a torch. Naturally, you know what this old monk means. The old monk stared at Li Fan without blinking. "If you act, you'll be sending them to their deaths. Benefactor, why bear this sin?" "Huh? Didn't you just say, if I don't go to hell, who will?" Amitba. Benefactor's eloquence is beyond this old monk's reach. However, if Benefactor wants to force his way through, This old monk will make you stay even if I have to sacrifice my life. What, you won't let me pass? Benefactors, you too are free to come and go. This old monk will not stop you. However, these people really can't. Sigh, since it's like this, I'll defeat you first. Li Fan waved his hand and pulled out his sword, pointing it at the old monk. Li Fan of the Seven Knights Villa challenges your esteemed temple. Amitba, since it's like this, please enlighten me. Zen Master Tian Yin brought his fellow disciples and 18 martial monks to face Li Fan together. Li Fan held his spring wave sword and suddenly stepped forward. His body was like a bolt of lightning, quickly rushing towards Zen Master Tian Yin. Zen Master Tian Yin did the same thing. He directly opened his mouth and roared. A lion's roar was unleashed towards Li Fan. However, Li Fan directly slashed with his sword. A powerful sword chi was instantly brought up and actually cut the old monk's sound wave in half. However, Zen Master Tian Yin seemed to have already expected this. He stood there and together with the two Zen masters beside him, once again let out a lion's roar. The three lions' roars merged together. The powerful inner force swept up the sound wave and came even faster and fiercer. Li Fan actually did not have time to slash in advance. His body was directly sent flying by the lion's roar and landed far away. Behind him, 18 martial monks had already been waiting for a long time. These 18 martial monks all roared and the long staffs in their hands turned into a ball, striking at Li Fan together. These 18 monks attacked together with an astonishing aura, faintly carrying the sound of wind and thunder. Clang! Li Fan turned around and in a short instant he stabbed more than 10 times, forcibly knocking away all the long staffs of the martial monks. Then he flipped again, his body hanging above the heads of these martial monks. Flying Dragon Flurry. In the blink of an eye, Li Fan stabbed out another 18 times. Each sword accurately pierced the wrist of a martial monk, causing them to throw away the long staffs in pain. The 18 martial monks silently retreated to the side and did not say a word. They knew that Li Fan had already shown mercy. If he did not stab their wrists but their throats, these martial monks would have already gone to see Buddha. Amitba, Zen Master Tian Yin could not help but praise, Benefactor, what a beautiful sword art. I wonder what kind of sword art Benefactor is practicing? Which sect did you learn from? 12 dragons subduing swords. Li Fan smiled, I do not have a master. It is a sword art I created myself. I have embarrassed myself in front of all the masters. Amitba, Zen Master Tian Yin finally had a look of surprise. I did not expect Benefactor to have such a perception at such a young age. You have created such a powerful sword art. Master, you flatter me. Li Fan cupped his hands. Compared to Master's pure and heavy lion's roar divine art, this little trick of mine is not worth mentioning. Chapter 1402. I don't admire many people in my life, but you are one of them. The old monk sighed with emotion. Tian Ke, who was beside him, shouted, Senior brother, why do you say that? I think his strength is just average. He only knows some swordsmanship. He might be able to deal with the 18 arhats, but he will be defeated by us. Let's have a good fight about what Master Tian Ke said. Li Fan laughed. He immediately flew forward and used the swimming dragon steps. His sword emitted sword chi as he swept towards the three masters. The three masters once again activated their internal strength and used the lion's roar technique in unison. The three of them combined their strength and formed a golden lion in front of them. It pounced towards Li Fan as if it wanted to tear Li Fan into pieces. Azure Dragon Water Point, 130% power. However, Li Fan suddenly sped up and turned into a golden dragon. He instantly pierced through the golden lion and tore its body into pieces. Then, Li Fan had already arrived in front of the three eminent monks. Good timing. Master Tian Ke laughed. He suddenly shouted and a sound wave hit Li Fan's body. The sound wave was extremely fast and did not rely on strength. Instead, it instantly affected Li Fan's body. He actually slowed down a little, as if he had fallen into mud. Li Fan was a little surprised. He did not expect Master Tian K's sound wave technique to have such an ability. It was as if he had thrown a negative buff on Li Fan. At the same time, the three Zen masters shot sound waves at Li Fan one after another, as if they were chanting scriptures. The three of them took advantage of the time difference and took turns to attack. Golden sound waves turned into Buddhist swastikas and attacked Li Fan continuously. Li Fan held the spring wave sword and attacked continuously. One sword after another, he constantly pierced the Buddhist swastikas. Among the 18 types of weapons, the spear was the overlord, the knife was the killer, and the sword was the king. For a spear, the longer it was, the stronger it was. Just like Zhao Zilong's 100 birds paying homage to the phoenix spear, with a spear in hand, it could strike 7 times in a domineering manner. As for a weapon like a saber, one side was sharp, and it was most suitable for hacking. On the battlefield, a saber was the most suitable weapon to kill. As for treasured swords, they were good at both offense and defense. And the most powerful move of a treasured sword was to stab. The length of a sword was not as long as a spear, and because of its shape, its cutting ability was not as good as a long saber. But in terms of thrusting, it was much smoother than the other two weapons. Li Fan's dragon subduing sword greatly displayed the advantage of a treasured sword. Wave after wave of sound waves continuously attacked Li Fan. However, Li Fan's rapier was almost invincible. Under this sound wave attack, he was in an invincible position. At that moment, the third Zen master, Master Tian Wang, who had been silent all this time, suddenly reached out with his right hand from his sleeve. Like an eagle's claw, he grabbed Li Fan's sword. Master Tian Wang's palm was like steel. He grabbed Li Fan's sword empty-handed, but he was unscathed. At the same time, he twisted his hand and snatched Li Fan's sword away. Dragon Claw? Almsgiver Li, I'm sorry. The three Zen masters were greatly energized. With Li Fan's sword sent flying, he naturally could not use his sword technique. But at that moment, Li Fan took a horse stance and directly struck out with his palm. Black Dragon Ice Palm, overturning the heavens and stirring the seas, 100% power. A powerful palm pressure directly sent the three eminent monks flying. The three hurriedly stabilized their footsteps, but Li Fan quickly approached them using the dragon traversing the 9 heavens. Each of them added another palm strike, causing them to fall to the ground. Sorry. Li Fan stretched out his hand, and the spring wave sword immediately flew up and inserted itself into the scabbard that Li Fan was holding. I'm actually most proficient in palm techniques. Even though the three of them were enlightened eminent monks, they were a bit speechless. He was already very powerful, yet he was still so black-bellied and secretly hid a move. Are the three of you convinced? Li Fan stood there and stabbed with both hands. Immediately, a sword mark appeared on the ground. Swordless realm. The three eminent monks were completely convinced. So even without a sword, Li Fan was still able to unleash powerful sword techniques. The attack just now was because Li Fan had purposely held back. Your martial arts are very powerful. This monk is impressed. Zen Master Tian Yin clasped his hands together and said to Li Fan, if you insist on bringing them to hell, then step over this monk's dead body. With that, Zen Master Tian Yin and his 2 junior brothers sat cross-legged in front of the door, blocking the path of the crowd. Master, isn't this a bit inappropriate? Li Fan was a bit speechless. Isn't this acting like a scoundrel? Amitba, we can't just watch these people die. Everyone, except for these 2, please go back. Li Fan, it seems that we can only kill these eminent monks. Abel's face sank. In order to save the world, someone has to be sacrificed. Li Fan glanced at Abel, and a trace of murderous light flashed in his eyes, causing Abel to subconsciously tremble. Is this Li Fan? Damn, why am I afraid of him? It must be an illusion. Everyone who wants to go, stand behind me. Li Fan thought of a plan in an instant, and he loudly ordered. The people of Gods of Dusk did not dare to hesitate, and they all stood behind Li Fan, waiting for his instructions. Abel and Wei Lisabeth looked at each other and decided to listen to Li Fan's orders first. This monk and my 3 junior brothers are here, Don't even think about passing. Zen Master Tian Yin's expression was solemn, and he was determined to guard this place. Zen Master Tian Yin, I'm sorry. Li Fan raised his internal force, and a majestic yuan qi continuously surged in his body. At this moment, a circular wave of air appeared under his feet, and this wave continued to expand, quickly filling the entire room. Many people in this wave of air were somewhat unable to stand steadily. A golden dragon's aura faintly appeared behind Li Fan, and its eyes were wide open, as if a real heavenly dragon had descended to the earth. This is the true dragon qi. Zen Master Tian Yin's eyes couldn't help but widen a little. Your realm has actually reached this level, entering the Tao with martial arts. This was not a symbol of strength, but a realm. Li Fan was already a saint-rank expert, and at this moment his realm was stepping on the threshold of the Tao of martial arts. This true dragon qi was the projection of Li Fan's realm. The true dragon qi twisted a little, and the dragon opened its 4 golden dragon claws, while Li Fan's yuan qi had been raised to the limit. He raised one hand, and suddenly pointed forward. At the same time, a dragon roar came out of Li Fan's mouth. War Dragon Roar. Zen Master Tian Yin and the others were already prepared, and this roar would definitely not make them retreat. However, with Li Fan's roar, the faces of the 3 Zen Masters immediately changed. Chapter 1403. In an instant, their bodies froze. Their vision turned pitch black, and they couldn't hear anything other than a buzzing sound. Li Fan's roar actually made the 3 of them lose their 5 senses. The people present were not fools. The moment Li Fan pointed, they all rushed out. When the 3 Zen Masters came to their senses, only Li Fan and his wife were left in the meditation room. I'm sorry. I've already sent those people over. Li Fan looked at the 3 Zen Masters who had just regained their senses. He clasped his hands together and apologized. I've taken someone's money to eliminate a calamity. This is something that can't be helped. I hope the 3 Zen Masters can forgive me. Amitba, Zen Master Tian Yin's expression was somewhat old. He let out a long sigh. This old monk's skills are not as good as others. The Dharma is also not good. I wanted to redeem people but failed. This matter, blame it on my crooked ways. Li Fan shrugged. Even if you want to go to hell, leave it to me. Young benefactor, do you not believe in Buddha? Zen Master Tian Yin suddenly asked. Does it matter whether I believe or not? Li Fan laughed. Maybe Buddha really exists, but it's useless to pray to Buddha. If it's useful, why would I come all the way here? Perhaps those people will die because they asked for it. In the words of Buddhism, the sins they committed in their previous life will be repaid in this life. Don't sin. If this 9-tailed divine fox were to come into being, it would not only be these dozens of people who would die. Li Fan reminded him, if you want to redeem people, save them first. After he finished speaking, he no longer cared about these monks and lifted his feet to walk out. Li Fan was no longer a greenhorn. In this world, wanting to be polite and wanting to be a good person would always conflict. For his own benefit, Li Fan could only give up being a good person. Rather than protecting these people who wanted to harm him, it was better to make money to support his island. Li Fan was not a good person. He would not have the slightest sympathy for people like Abel. When they were destroying the island's ecology, they didn't show any mercy. Li Fan and Murong Ing left the room. In front of them was a long corridor. Abel and Murong Ing didn't even wait for Li Fan. They had already gone far away. These people are truly heartless. Murong Ing snorted coldly. It's fine. I like to earn money from heartless people. Li Fan laughed, causing Murong Ing to roll her eyes. This kid was too proud of himself. Shall I call you Moneybags Li from now on? Ha, little girl, be good. I'll take care of you from now on. Sure, transfer 400 million to me. Well, I think you're a strong woman. How could you be willing to let me keep you? Murong Ing rolled her eyes, then turned around to walk away. At this time, the 3 Buddhist monks followed them out. Ba, benefactors, please wait. What's wrong, master? Are we going to eat vegetarian food? Li Fan laughed. It's fine. We're not hungry. We'll come back to eat after dealing with that nine-tailed divine fox. Ba, it's probably karma. Master Tianyin seemed to have accepted it. Our Sky Dragon Temple has guarded the demon's sealing hill for thousands of years. Slaying demons is our temple's duty. Therefore, the three of us have decided to follow you two to the demon's sealing hill to deal with the nine-tailed divine fox that is about to be born. It's good that Master has accepted it. Li Fan let out a sigh of relief. By the way, I have something to ask Master. Young benefactor, please ask away. Why do you call it nine-tailed divine fox? Logically speaking, shouldn't such a peerless devil be called a demon fox or a devil fox? So that's the question. Master Tianyin nodded. Since young benefactor has such a question, I will answer it. But before that, I want to tell you a story. Young benefactor, it's a bit long, please be patient. Alright, it looks like the divine fox won't be coming out for a while. Let's listen. Then please go to the meditation room. Our Sky Dragon Temple has grown some tea leaves. Please have a taste. Art, thank you. Li Fan and Murong Ing returned to Master Tianyin's room. As for those who went to the demon sealing hill, Li Fan couldn't be bothered. As the saying goes, know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. Li Fan wanted to know more about the nine-tailed divine fox before fighting her. When they returned to the meditation room, the novice monk brought them some fragrant tea. Li Fan tasted it and found it tasted pretty good. But it was still a bit lacking compared to the medicinal tea of their villa. Benefactor Li, do you know that there's a saying in Buddhism called the 3,000 worlds? I do know a little about it. Li Fan nodded. The Buddhists often said that there was a world in a flower and a Bodhi in a leaf. Although Li Fan wasn't well versed in Buddhism, he had heard Murong Ing mention it when he was chatting. That's right. 3,000 worlds. 3,000 is just an estimate. The Buddhists believe that there are many other worlds apart from ours. You mean plane? Li Fan vaguely understood what the monk meant. Planes? That's a flat world. Oh, that's a good description. Master Tianyin nodded. Different planes form the 3,000 worlds. The story I'm about to tell happened in another world. Please enlighten me, Master. The other world is different from our world. In that world, mortals can cultivate. I heard that there are a few cultivation sects that help humans cultivate immortal techniques and head to the immortal world. Damn, there's even such a joke? Li Fan was slightly shocked. He felt envious. Damn, he trained so hard, but the other party directly became an immortal. Hee hee, little benefactor, you don't have to be envious. Even immortal cultivation isn't that easy. The amount of effort they put into this is 10 times, or even 100 times more than yours. And after becoming an immortal, mortals have to experience a terrifying heavenly tribulation. Immortal cultivation is originally going against the heavens. Seeing that you are cultivating, the heavens will reward you with 9 bolts of heavenly lightning. Those who can survive this heavenly tribulation can be counted on one's fingers. Damn, so there's such a mystery. Li Fan was speechless. This wasn't fun anymore. How could humans withstand the might of heavenly lightning? Yes, that's just the premise. In that world, there's an ultimate protector called the Great Cosmos God. What? Li Fan's expression changed. Great Cosmos God? Where did he hear this name before? Chapter 1404. Li Fan is slightly shocked. Where did I hear the name Cosmos God before? He suddenly recalls that back then when he mistakenly entered Le Xiaohu's different space, he had once met such a brother who claimed to be a Cosmos God. Is Monk Tianyin talking about the world that he is in? Monk, is that Cosmos God called Lu Aigua? Li Fan asks. Lu Aigua? Not really. Monk Tianyin shakes his head. The Cosmos God that this monk knows is called Lu. Louis? Li Fan has never heard of this name before and does not know who he is. That's right. After this, Lu Yi became a Cosmos God, He is unable to return to the human world and was forced to separate from his beloved, the heavenly fox Lin Tong. Lin Tong was completely disheartened, so she decided to adopt a little fox demon and imparted all of her supernatural powers to the little fox demon. Based on Lin Tong's intention, she hopes that this small fox demon will one day replace her beloved Lu Yi and become the new generation Cosmos God. What you mean is that the Cosmos God is replaced from generation to generation. If one wishes to leave that space, one must wait for the next one? Li Fan recalls what Lu Igua had said to him and instantly understands. That's right. Benefactor's guess is correct. If one wishes to become a supreme god, one must pay such a price. This can be considered as a kind of karma. But that Lin Tong is too selfish. To let other people replace her beloved and go to jail. Amitabha. Since ancient times, love is hard to break. Monk Tian Yin sighs and continues to say, Heavenly Fox Lin Tong is considered to be very intelligent. But she did not expect that this small fox demon's heart would be moved by another man during her cultivation. Since Heavenly Fox Lin Tong is so intelligent, could it be that she did not calculate this? It is very obvious that a fox girl is full of affection. Lin Tong indeed calculated this. That is why she brought this small fox demon by her side since young and did not let her come into contact with men. But unexpectedly, a man accidentally barged into the space that Lin Tong created and hooked away this small fox demon's heart. What the heck? Who is so fierce? This person is called Luo Lian, a demon king from another world. Luo Lian. Li Fan felt that this name was very familiar, as if he had heard it somewhere before. However, Luo Lian has a licentious nature and is not devoted to women. It has harmed this young fox demoness. In order to be with Luo Lian, the little fox had even betrayed Lin Tong, who had raised her, by shattering the void and arriving in Luo Lian's world. In the end, Luo Lian doted on many concubines. The little fox demoness' love turned into hatred. She decided to ally with the gods of the heavenly realm to deal a fatal blow to Luo Lian, causing her to perish. I don't think little fox demoness can be blamed for this. Li Fan voiced out his thoughts. Luo Lian can be considered a hero in his own right, but he fell in love with everyone he saw. In the end, he died at the hands of a woman. That's right. As the saying goes, everything is predetermined. Upon hearing Li Fan's words, Master Heavenly Yi nodded in satisfaction. However, the young fox demoness' hatred is deep, but her love is even deeper. After Luo Lian perished, the young fox demoness regretted it. She tried to reverse the starry sky to save her lover, but she failed. Instead, she accidentally fell into our space. Oh? So this nine-tailed divine fox is the young fox demoness that Master mentioned? Li Fan had already guessed a few things. That's right. Zen Master Heavenly Yi nodded. That divine fox has a kind nature. After she came here, she was doing very well. Suddenly, one day, for some unknown reason, she swore to destroy all life in this world. Ah! Li Fan was puzzled. What's the reason? The seniors did not know. The divine fox did not mention it either. In the end, to protect humanity, the seniors joined forces with the sacred beasts to seal the divine fox. However, the seal would loosen once every 1,000 years. Therefore, at that time, the 4 sacred beasts would come and join forces to strengthen the seal, allowing the divine fox to continue staying in the demon's sealing hill. Everyone respects her as the divine fox. Why is this place called the demon's sealing hill? That's because this is the place where the fiend king is sealed. The 4 sacred beasts could only borrow the power of this place to seal her. I see. Li Fan finally understood the cause and effect of the matter. However, he could not understand why the divine fox would want to destroy the world. Amitabha. This old monk has already explained the matter to you. This is the legendary 9-tailed divine fox. You already know what happened to her in the past. What happens in the future depends on you. All right. I would like to see what kind of abilities this 9-tailed divine fox has. Li Fan slammed the table and stood up. He was filled with battle intent. Benefactor, it's good to be brave, but don't be careless. Master Heavenly Een voiced out his worries. Benefactor, I know that you are a sacred beast. However, that divine fox should be a god-tier expert. The difference in combat strength cannot be made up for with talent. God-tier. This is the first time I've heard of such an expert. Li Fan became even more excited. Just nice. I want to see how strong this god-tier is. Li Fan's fearlessness made Master Heavenly Een smile bitterly. If that's the case, Benefactor, please. Master Heavenly Een stood up again. It's about time. She should wake up. Oh right, Master, before I came here, I met a woman who claimed to be passionate. Who is she? Passionate? Master Heavenly Een seemed to have never heard of this name. This old monk has never heard of this name. Is she related to our island? She said that she is from here. She should be the subordinate of the nine-tailed divine fox. What kind of cultivation technique does she use? What are its characteristics? Master Heavenly Een asked. This woman can turn her hair into sharp blades. She claims to be an invincible divine weapon. There are 8 other women who look exactly like her. Each of them uses different techniques. Some use fire, some use lightning. The expressions of Zen Master Tian Yin and his 2 junior brothers changed at the same time, becoming indescribably ugly. Master, is there some secret behind this? Li Fan could tell that something was wrong. Amit Ba, Benefactor, I'm afraid that the person you met is the divine fox herself, huh? Li Fan and Murong Ing looked at each other. What did this mean? Benefactor, you may not know this. The 9-tailed divine fox has 9 tails and 9 divine powers. They are Samadhi true fire, bone-melting astral wind, stone of another mountain, thunder of the 4 seas, and mysterious ice of the 9 heavens. As well as the immortal soul, the invincible divine weapon, the inextinguishable light, and the unbreakable golden body. I understand what you mean, Master. With Li Fan's intelligence, he instantly understood. Master, are you saying that these passionate are the 9 clones of the 9-tailed divine fox? Chapter 1405. The old monk's words are very shocking. That Zai Qing is actually the 9 clones of the 9-tailed divine fox? Then this matter is even more fishy. This woman found me and took away the hero's medallion. What does she mean? I'm afraid it's not good. For the first time, Murong Ing revealed a worried expression as she looked at Li Fan. This woman only has 9 clones, but she already has such terrifying strength. If it was her own body, who knows what kind of ability she would have. This is even more interesting. Li Fan sneered a few times. Zai Qing, since you want to know me so much, then let's get to know each other. My wife, come with me and meet this amorous fox. Murong Ing followed beside Li Fan, suddenly thought of something and said, You can understand, but don't let that fox girl seduce your soul. Hi, Li Fan, am not that thirsty, is there a need for that? Li Fan laughed loudly, causing Murong Ing to roll her eyes. Your mouth is powerful. When we see that fox girl, if you look at her too much, I will dig out your eyes. Oh, my alliance leader, why are you so jealous? You were not like this in the past. I was like this in the past. Murong Ing said proudly, You still have to get to know me better. Yes. Miss Murong is right. This young man will do his best to understand you inside and out. It's good that you know. How could Murong Ing understand the meaning behind Li Fan's words? She thought that Li Fan really admired her. 2 benefactors, this way please. Zen Master Tian Yin led the 2 of them through the corridor and arrived at a small valley at the back. The valley is said to be concave, but in the middle, there is a protruding hill. Beside it, there are 8 huge swords. Each sword is 10 meters tall and 2 meters wide. On top of each sword, there is a person sitting. There are a total of 6 men and 2 women, each of them looks very powerful. All 8 of them pointed a finger at the hill in front of them. There were a total of 8 golden halos on the hill, trapping the legendary 9-tailed divine fox. On the side, Abel and his group were also there. These people didn't seem to dare to step forward. They could only look at the demon's ceiling array from afar. Tianin. As if sensing Zen Master Tianin's arrival, a middle-aged man at the southern sword position spoke slowly. You are an outer disciple. According to the rules, you are not allowed to enter the valley. Don't tell me that you've lived for so long that you've forgotten this rule? Amit Ba. Zen Master Tianin said lightly, how could this old monk dare to forget this rule? But now that the challenger has entered the valley, I will naturally accompany him. Challenger? With this bunch of trash? A woman sneered. Teen, what kind of monk are you? I think your cultivation is for naught. You actually let these guys in. Ridiculous, ridiculous. Baka. You're talking nonsense. A ninja from an island country was immediately enraged when he heard these humiliating words. They were all elites from various countries. In their countries, they were treated with respect. They had never been treated like this before. Just as the proud ninja was about to curse, the woman who spoke opened her cherry mouth and spat out a bolt of lightning. Pooh! A palm-sized lightning sword flew out from her mouth and instantly pierced the ninja's chest. Bang! In the end, the ninja's body directly exploded. Blue lightning arcs spread in all directions. Everyone was so shocked that they hurriedly moved away, afraid that they would be caught in the crossfire. Abel and Elizabeth's expressions became more and more ugly. Why did they encounter a group of troublesome evil spirits before they even saw the nine-tailed divine fox? What kind of technique did this Chinese woman use? Only Li Fan could see that it was the heaven's lightning sword. The dragon lady had taught him this technique before. Amit Ba, Zen Master Tianin couldn't help but sigh. A great disaster is imminent. Why do you all have to kill more? You old monk, what does this have to do with you? The woman's temper was a bit unruly. This kind of trash, so be it. If it wasn't for the fact that I had to conserve my power to suppress this fox, I wouldn't have let anyone here go. What a big temper. Li Fan held the spring wave sword and stood at the edge of the valley. He pointed at the unruly woman in red and said to Muronging, my wife, look, I found someone with a bigger temper than you. Go die. Muronging didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How is my temper big? What nonsense are you spouting? Go die. The unruly woman became angry and glared at Li Fan. At the same time, she opened her sexy little mouth and spat out another lightning sword. However, Li Fan did not think much of it. He slapped the lightning sword away with his palm. Bang! The lightning sword hit the stone wall at the side, causing a huge hole to appear in the stone wall. This kind of power scared the experts of the various countries. Only Li Fan's expression didn't change, as if nothing happened. But that unruly woman's attack wasn't without power. Li Fan's palm was still faintly emitting green smoke. Who exactly are you? Seeing that Li Fan was able to easily block her attack, the unruly woman and the others were somewhat shocked. Amit Ba. Elders, these two are the challengers. The old monk hurriedly introduced. The two of them have unfathomable power. They can add strength to the seal this time. It's just two saint-level experts. What's there to be surprised about? The unruly woman curled her lips. Which one of us isn't a saint-level expert? Furthermore, with the few of us here, even the sacred beast doesn't need to come. That fox won't be able to escape. Why would there be a need for this person to meddle? Quickly send him away. Don't be a hindrance. You lass, you can't even keep an eye on a person. You sure talk big. How could Li Fan take this? He came to help, but was actually ridiculed. What did you say? The unruly woman's almond-shaped eyes widened. Her pink face was filled with anger. She was about to unleash her power at Li Fan, but she was stopped by the middle-aged man. Hong Mei, stop messing around. Oomph. The unruly woman seemed to be a little uncomfortable. You didn't come to help me, but instead helped an outsider. Hong Mei, this is a crucial moment. Every saint-level expert is a force to be reckoned with. Another black-haired, yellow-clothed beauty said softly, I can feel that this nine-tailed divine fox is even stronger than before. We are also stronger than before. Hong Mei shouted, Sister Huang Shan, you're too cautious. Don't worry. If that fox escapes, this lady will use the Heaven's Thunder Sword to kill her. Using the Heaven's Thunder Sword like this makes me want to cry. Li Fan shrugged his shoulders and ridiculed on the side. Stinking brat, I think you're really tired of living. Hong Mei's originally relaxed expression tensed up once again. When the little girl unleashed her power, even Abel and the others were a little afraid. Chapter 1406. Hong Mei, Huang Shan, and the others were all dragon warriors with countless years of history behind them. Because of their bloodlines and accusations, these 8 dragon warriors had been sitting here all this time, guarding the 9-tailed divine fox. They hadn't even taken a step out of the demon ceiling hill, let alone Demon Island. After thousands of years, some of them had twisted personalities, while others had begun to despair. The dragon race was divided into 4 types: wind, fire, rain, and lightning. Among them, rain was also called water. The gentle Huang Shan was a member of the water race. She also cultivated a water-type mental cultivation method, so she had a gentle personality. Even after thousands of years, she was still as kind and gentle as ever. Hong Mei, we're all here to help. How can you say that? But Hong Mei wanted to say something else, but the middle-aged man beside her scolded her. Hong Mei, shut up. Calm the heart and suppress the demon. Yes, this man seemed to be the leader of the 8. Amitba, this old monk will introduce these 8 elders to everyone. Zen Master Heaven's Sound pointed at each of them and introduced them one by one. This is the first elder and chief dragon warrior, Jin Yen. These 2 are Hong Mei and Huang Shan, followed by Qingfeng, Lanes, Baihua, Xuanye, and Lui. Each of the 8 dragon warriors had a color in their name. Similarly, there was a mark of the same color on their foreheads, as if to symbolize them. After Zen Master Heaven Sound's introduction, only Huang Shan nodded lightly at Li Fan and the others to show her respect. As for the other dragon warriors, Hong Mei harumphed coldly. The others, including Chief Jin Yen, all closed their eyes and remained silent, as if their only thoughts were on suppressing the demon. Little friends, you're so young, but you've already cultivated to such a level. You're truly talented. Huang Shan couldn't help but praise Li Fan. At the same time, she cast a look of admiration at the others. I've cultivated for thousands of years to reach this level. Big Sister Huang, you flatter me. I've only reached this level because of luck and coincidence. Li Fan cupped his hands. As the saying went, one shouldn't slap a smiling face. Since this beauty Huang Shan was being so polite, his attitude naturally softened a lot. Little brother, you said that we failed to suppress the demons. Why do you say that? Huang Shan's eyes were filled with affection, her gaze never leaving Li Fan, causing Li Fan's heart to race. No matter where he was, being noticed by a beautiful woman would make him happy. Amitba, benefactor, please tell me the truth. Zen Master Tianyin sighed, his voice filled with worry. Tianyin, you've lived for more than 300 years. Why are you so worried about personal gains and losses? Hong Mei couldn't help but mock him. Li Fan was secretly surprised. This old monk was already over 300 years old? 300 years old? Elizabeth exclaimed. You're the birthday girl? It's just an empty job. Zen Master Heaven Note shook his head. Furthermore, this island is filled with outstanding people and is nourished by the divine fox's immortal qi. It's not rare for anyone on this island to have a lifespan of 300 to 500 years. His words shocked everyone present. The path of longevity. Who would be willing to die? Who wouldn't want to live for a few more years? But other than the legendary Parker family, no matter how powerful the rest of them were, they couldn't escape the curse of short life. Humans only had a lifespan of 100 years. It wasn't short, but it wasn't long either. After all, a house's property rights lasted for 70 years. From the beginning of humans, they went to school for 20 years, worked for 20 years, and spent the rest of their time taking care of their children. By the time their children settled down and started a career, they were already in their later years. This kind of time was too short. But if they could double or triple their lifespan, what would it be like? Thinking of this, they couldn't help but feel excited. This wasn't a demon island, this was a treasure island. There was a true path of longevity here. No wonder the people on this island were willing to call that demon the divine fox. Although she was a disaster, she was also the guardian of this island. Everyone looked at each other and saw the ecstasy in each other's eyes. This is great. Through the monitor, the imperial officer who saw this scene was also ecstatic. This was a discovery that transcended the era. He could rely on this to become the president, the greatest president in the history of the empire, because he had found a future for the entire human race. This 500 million is worth it. Worth it. The officer was hugging the screen and kissing it. So lucky. I'm so lucky. It seemed like even God was helping him. Don't worry, officer, I will definitely complete your mission. Receiving the officer's instruction, Abel nodded and secretly released a nano-robot. At this time, Li Fan revealed the news of love. Fox's clone. Hong Mei didn't believe what Li Fan said at all. Are you kidding? With our 8-ring map here, how could a fox's clone come out? Little brother, this matter you're talking about is really too shocking. Even if I believe it, I can't guarantee the authenticity of your news to others. The beauty Huang Shan seemed to believe a little. How about this? You come to my side and feel the breath of this 9-tailed fox. Is it the same as the woman you met? Okay. Li Fan immediately nodded and was about to step forward, but Morong Ing pulled him back. Are you crazy? This is the demon ceiling hill. There are dangers everywhere. Yes, I will be careful. Li Fan nodded, but whether love is the fox's clone or not, I still have to check it myself. You are not allowed to go. Why are you so timid? We're in a dangerous business. Li Fan was extremely confident. How can there be no danger in saving the world? If you are afraid, just stand here, I will go see for myself. As Li Fan spoke, he used his qinggong and quickly rushed towards the beauty Huang Shan. At this time, Jin Yen, who was originally closed in meditation, suddenly opened his eyes. Brother, come here quickly and feel it. The beauty Huang Shan's smile was as gentle as spring, it could melt a person's bones. Li Fan lightly landed next to the beauty Huang Shan and stepped on the hilt of the sword. But at this time, a strong suction force pulled Li Fan's body. Brother, you are really a good person. The beauty Huang Shan smiled even more happily. This demon sealing hill not only seals the fox, but also seals us. 8 holy level masters, not one can be missing. Since you entered the array for me, then I will go out. If there is a chance in the future, I will repay you. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.